Hello, everyone, and welcome to SmashBoxxTV's podcast 359. Terry Miller, the disc golf guy, alongside Johnny V.
What a fun last few days we've had, Terry.
Yeah. Things have been a little bit hectic, but a lot of fun. And, of course, we're talking about being over in Des Moines for the Des Moines Challenge. Yep. We're going to have our champion join us in just a few moments. But as the Des Moines Challenge wrapped up, then I headed back very quickly on Sunday night, only one pullover to take a 30-minute nap, which is very rare that I have to do. But finally made it home super late come Monday morning. Then Simon and Eagle showed up in Milwaukee. We kind of had a very quick and impromptu afternoon at one of our local parks. And then we headed down to our favorite brew pub, Explorium Brew Pub in downtown Milwaukee. They had a meet and greet. Then we rushed out to Ben Askren's, to the Funky Farms, and had a little cookout and more of a meet and greet with a bunch of the celebrities and the pros that were showing up for the Celebrity Pro-Am. And then all day Tuesday was, in fact, said Celebrity Pro-Am. So tons of stuff to recap tonight. I think it's going to be awesome. Very, very jam-packed and full of fun and excitement.
Which is why our podcast is on Wednesday tonight and not our normal Tuesday night podcast.
Exactly. Sometimes you have to make sacrifices, and you have to go out to after parties and entertain.
Hobnob with celebrities.
Yes, sometimes that's just part of the job of what we have to do here. So
I got an entire fitness routine and regimen from our good friend Dylan. So he's
all good to go.
We're good.
Got everything we need.
I can be a major league pitcher now.
Yeah, not so much.
All right.
All right. Well, what really matters is tonight, right now, we're welcoming in none other than our FPO champion from the Des Moines Challenge, and that, of course, Missy Gannon.
Yay!
Woo! Hi, Missy. How are you doing?
I mean, I'm great.
You're always great. I mean, I always make the comments, win, lose, or draw, no matter what's happening on the course. You're always smiling, and I'm like, I don't know how she's shooting, but she's smiling.
She's got a minor flex
I'm
going on.
Great.
She's got a minor flex going on. Look at that background. Is that the trophy hanging up right behind you?
Look at that. It barely fits on the door. It's so big.
I know.
I love it.
We had to find a spot for it. We couldn't not hang it up. So that was
you could be sitting in your lap for all I care.
You can hold it the entire time.
Yeah.
You earned that.
So let's get right into it. This weekend, of course, Disc Golf Pro Tour Elite Series event. And it had a little chaos, which could not have been prevented or really altered. The weather was the issue. Break down how, we'll say, the first day for you for Friday. How did Friday, as MPO kicked off in the morning into the afternoon, and then you guys FPO in the afternoons. What was Friday like for you?
I don't even remember. I know that we later than we're supposed to, I think, but it's like such like because there were delays all throughout the day on Friday, I believe, and the men got delayed, and then we weren't even sure that we were going to have time to play at all as the day was going on, and it got later and later, and honestly we were back at the campground like 20 minutes away, and it was 4:30 and then 5 o'clock. And once 5 o'clock rolled around, I was just assuming that we're going to have enough time to play. So I was in that, I mean, a lot of us were, but me specifically, I was in that kind of limbo spot where I'm like, do I cook dinner? Do I lay down? Like, what do I do right now? But the Disc Golf Pro Tour and the tournament staff were trying to keep us as updated as possible. And we ended up getting an email right around 5 o'clock saying that, we're going to go. We're going to get as many holes in as we can. I started at, I think, like 6 o'clock p.m. And they were just going to, give us until about 8:30, 8:45, I think. Get through as many holes as possible, and so it was really weird. It was hard to get back into like tournament mode, and because I had been preparing mentally and as I normally would before my originally scheduled 3:45 tee time, and then all of a sudden it was, just sort of a waiting game. And yeah, so we got out on the course at about 6 o'clock, and I think we got through like 15 holes, I think. My card, I was the second card. Um, and that's that's when we did the day, and we were told that we were going to come out Saturday morning at 9 o'clock to finish our remaining holes. And honestly, it kind of it worked out pretty good. I didn't expect us to get as many holes as we did, and it was nice that we were able to have a full round completed Saturday morning. But yeah, I mean, I'd obviously rather play than not play. So we didn't have any weather problems, at least that evening that we played. And Saturday morning was beautiful, it was sunny, and none of us thought that again some more rain was going to roll through. But yeah, round one was kind of crazy, but we got it done, which was nice.
Yeah, and then I guess that leads right into thinking, at what point were you either assuming or realizing, hey, we may not play 54 holes, or we may not even play 36? I mean, what were some of the thoughts that were going through your head as you guys are, just like all of us, watching the radar, looking at the tee times, and trying to like do all of that math? But when did you really start thinking, hey, this probably isn't going to be a full 54-hole tournament?
It probably wasn't until Saturday afternoon. So we finished our remaining holes at 9 a.m. and we were done around like 10:15 or so. I had 3 holes left, and then we went. We were able to leave the course and do whatever we wanted, and tee time looked pretty normal after that. We were scheduled to come back at about 4 o'clock for the lead card tee time, and yeah, like any normal round would have been. So that's what we did. We took a break, ate lunch, did what we needed to do, and then got back to the course around 3 o'clock, I think. And I warmed. I putted, and then I went to the driving range, and then I was heading back to the putting area, and then all of a sudden I hear 3 blasts, and I was hanging out with Paige. We were both warming up, and we were like, oh, okay. We walked back to our cars, and just we hung out in Paige's van just to kind of wait it out. And it just kind of got later and later, and the men were already out there trying to finish their second round. And I think it was about that time when we were like looking at the radar, we saw this big, huge storm heading our way, and it was moving pretty slowly because after they blew the horn, nothing really was happening around us yet, but we could see on the radar that it was coming. And it was definitely close, but it was just moving so slow. And then, yeah, I think we had hung out there for about an hour, and we just knew that at that point, later it got, the closer the storm was getting. So I think that's when I realized we probably weren't playing round two, at least not that day. And then, yeah, I mean, there was only one day left, so it was going to be pretty hard to get 2 more rounds in for, both divisions. So
I think one of the biggest challenges, or maybe what seemed a little odd to people, is a lot of the time when you guys weren't playing, when you weren't on the course because people were pulled off, it wasn't necessarily actively raining I mean, of course it was lightning, but they were measuring it at 6 miles, 15 miles, all these various distances. But I think to maybe I don't want to say naked eye, to the naive eye maybe, someone watching from afar, they're thinking, wait a minute, what's going on? Why isn't there golf being played? Did you hear some of that either questioning or sentiment, that those murmurs at all, or no?
yeah, I think so. And I think mostly from, when right before my second round was supposed to start, when we heard the horn blasts, I think I saw a couple of MPO players coming off the course, and they had like 2 holes left, 3 holes left, and they were kind of just like, like we were so close, and what's happening? Nothing's happening. And so that was that was probably the extent of what I personally heard. But yeah, I'm a radar watcher. I don't play around when it comes to lightning and thunder, and I've had one close call in my entire life, and I will never have a close call again if I can have any thing to do with it. So I'm very aware of what the weather's doing. I think I looked at like 5 or 10. It felt like 10, but probably like 5 different weather apps, just sort of looking at what everybody was saying. And yeah, I mean, safety is always number one priority, and we play in the outdoors. We can't control what's happening, and all we can do is try to, be as proactive as possible to keep everybody safe. So I had no problem with what was going on. I know that the people that were watching knew, that were in charge knew what was going on, and yeah, the last thing we need is somebody to get injured out there when it could have been preventable. So it
Certainly.
was the best call.
And
Yeah.
I know the part of pulling it so early was to make sure that we didn't have players out on the course and that players could get to safety without having to drive through it all. Because I believe the decision was made that you don't want to wait till the very last minute or when it's too close because the players have to drive. And I think it was you that told me a lot of the players weren't even within like 30 minutes of the course where a lot of them were staying. So to get the players off the course and to safety was a big priority and why it was done so early.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's a huge property too. So you could be on hole, 10 and just be completely out in the open, far away from your car or any sort of real safety. So yeah, it's a big piece of land out there, and you need to give people time to get back to a safe place.
Yeah, and that's all part of what I was going at there is I wanted to drive that point home that just because it wasn't actively, lightning right next to the course or raining, it was all about that prep work and making sure, because the course is so huge, that time to get off the course and then time to position yourself maybe away from that area without being stuck. So that was definitely where I was going with it. And Seth Muncie, who's kind of overseeing a lot of this and in his new role with the Pro Tour, he worded it perfectly. As it was all preventative. Everybody says, if there's no problems, then everything goes well. But that meant he did his job, is what I'm trying to spit out. If he does his job well, then there's nothing that, we're trying to fix or we're trying to address, because he was being preventative about it and proactive about it rather than waiting till it's too late. Because we all know, you think, if anything were to happen to any player, the first thing everyone says, well, why weren't they looking out for us? Why didn't we, take care of this? Why didn't we think of this ahead of time? And sometimes if you're going to err on the side of being super cautious, that's going to be the way to do it. That's going to be a much smarter way to go about it. So just 2 rounds, but after round 1, you, Paige, and Kristen Tatar all tied at 3 under par. And so there was this truly conceivable moment, depending on how times shook out, that you guys could have had a 3-way championship among you had there not been a second or a third round, right? Was that talked about?
I actually joked about it with Tom. I was just like, hey, maybe we'll just all win. I don't know, like that'd be cool. Because at that point, I'm the only one out of those, out of us 3 that don't have a big title under my belt. So I was like, sure, that'd be fun, that'd be cool. But yeah, it was anybody's game at that point, and I'm glad we were able to at least play one more round. I even think that had we had to just play 12 holes or whatever, I think we were going to be able to do that. We ended up having a pretty nice day on Sunday after all of that. So, but yeah, we were just fortunate to have at least one more round to get through.
So you've been in the hunt, you've been in the thick of things, you've performed well in various positions, but you haven't come out on top at an event of this size. And again, you battle with these women week in and week out. So no one was like, oh, Missy's, up on the lead card. That's crazy, because it's not. But here you're right in the thick of it as the round goes on. Kind of walk us through, I don't need every shot on every hole, but kind of walk us through, though, like how you were feeling as the round progressed and if it was at all you in the course, or was it you and some of the other players? What were some of your feelings? Take us on that amusement ride, probably all the way around the track.
Yeah, I think honestly it was completely just me and the course. I played 4 practice rounds for this event, and I knew exactly what I could and couldn't do. Honestly, coming into this event, I was a little worried because I think there were like 5 holes that I was just like, I don't think I can birdie these. And it's so hard to tell yourself, like, can you win this event knowing that 5 of the holes you don't think you can birdie? And also knowing that the reason why I didn't think I could birdie them is because I had a little bit of a lack of distance to reach some of those holes. And so obviously my competitors don't have that problem, namely Kristen Tatar and Paige Pierce.
Mm-hmm.
So, I just knew that I had to just play my game and hope that it was enough to you know to at least be in contention, which event obviously it was after at least round 1. But I played with Kristen Tatar round 1, and she missed a couple of putts to have a few more birdies inside the circle, and even with that, she had I think 1 or 2 more birdies than I did that round. You know, other than I mean, really just she made more mistakes than I did. I didn't necessarily, outplay her other than I just played a little bit cleaner. So, going into that final round, I was like, I witnessed it. I saw that she could do this. I saw that she could birdie a lot of these holes. So, I couldn't think about that. I had to just do what I knew I could do and just try to stay as super clean as possible because, there's a lot of rough out there and you go in those woods, your score could go way up. So,
The natural
um,
OB, as everybody was calling it, because once you get in there,
yeah,
it is tough to get out at Pickard.
totally. Yeah. So, I'm actually pretty proud of myself for being so just in my own, realm and my own game and just playing the way that I know I could. And I had such a solid game plan that, not everything went my way, but for the most part, I played it exactly the way I wanted to. Um, so yeah, the round was kind of crazy. I at the end there, I kind of knew that I had played better than Paige and Kristen at that point. So I knew I knew that because it was easier because we were all tied going in, so I could kind of
Mm-hmm.
feel they had a few more bogeys than I did, and I was still kind of keeping up in terms of birdies, so I felt pretty good about that. But honestly, Jessica Weiss just sort of I don't know, she like flipped my mind in a way, but then also I forgot that she was started out the round 3 strokes behind, and then I knew she had gotten more, a few more birdies in the end there. So I was a little freaking out about where she was in terms of score related to me, but I tried not to think about it too much, and I honestly still didn't even check scores because I knew Tom was keeping track, and I knew if I needed to know anything, he was going to tell me. But we're still trying to figure out our dynamic in that respect because we haven't really been in this position before. So, but I think we played it perfectly. We knew exactly what my game plan was, and if I needed to know something, he would have told me. And yeah, so hole 18 was just I don't know, just a crazy,
All right, I was going to
crazy.
come back to it, but we're going to go right to it
Okay,
because you led us there.
okay,
So walking up to 18 on the tee, what was the conversation between you and Tom? Was there any? Did he? Because technically Jessica was just up ahead. She was probably on the hole at the exact same time. Still, I don't even think she had completed the hole, had she?
No, we were playing together.
Yeah, they
We
were
Oh,
on
were
the
on
same
no,
card.
sorry. Never
Yeah.
mind. I'm an idiot.
Yeah,
Sorry.
they were on the same
I'm
card.
sorry. I was thinking chase card. Sorry. Okay. So, but on the tee, did you guys? The question still stands, I guess. Though, on the tee, did you or Tom know what things were looking like?
Tom did.
Okay,
Uh,
and he kept that to
I
himself.
He did,
Okay.
which which I'm glad because I guess go back to, so I bogeyed hole 15. So
Yep.
that didn't feel good because I already didn't quite know what was going on, but uh, Tom was keeping calm. He didn't, give me any sort of clues that like that really hurt me or anything.
Mm-hmm.
So I threw my tee shot on 16, and it's a tough hole, but it is one of the shortest holes, and
Mm-hmm.
so it's definitely a birdie opportunity. But I ended up landing right around circle two's edge up the hill, but with like a wide open look, except that's a very, very tiny green to
Mm-hmm.
try to putt at, while Jessica was right outside circle one,
Mm.
maybe a little blocked on the right side, but still, had the best chance for a birdie on our whole card. So when I stepped up to my lie, I asked Tom, I said, "Do I run this?" And he just said no, definitively said no. So at that point, I knew, okay, I didn't need that stroke.
Mm.
He didn't have to tell me that I
Mm-hmm.
didn't need the stroke, but I could just, I mean, him saying no obviously told me I didn't need that stroke, but um, it made me feel like, okay, that means I have a little bit of a cushion, whether that was one stroke, two strokes, three strokes, whatever. Um, so anyway, being able to comfortably lay that up, uh, gave me that sort of that feeling. Just also ended up just carting the par. Nothing happened there.
Real quick, because
17,
I wasn't down there,
yeah,
so real quick, uh,
sure.
uh, did she run at the putt and then just miss it, or did she essentially lay it up? I wasn't on the green. I didn't see it.
Yeah, I believe that one last tree that's down by on the green, maybe 10, 15 feet from the
Mm-hmm.
basket, I think was a little bit in her way. So she did have to kind of straddle around and throw a bit of like a hyzer putt, but she definitely ran the putt, and
Okay.
she flashed right in front of it, just a little bit too much hyzer and didn't quite connect. But
Okay.
she definitely, had a look. Um, so yeah, phew, okay. 17, she pulls it into the woods on the right.
Mm.
And she had the box, or she at least went before me. Um, and so, that I kind of took a deep breath, and I threw my shot, ended up kind of early releasing it, but ending on the left side, which actually wasn't too bad, and it's better than being on the right side. But she throws an incredible scramble shot from deep in the woods and ends up, landing 12 feet from the pin. And I was like, okay, I she's gonna get a par. That was incredible, like awesome. I just have to get it up there, maybe give it a bid. I was inside circle two, a little obstructed, but gave it a run, but ended up again both taking pars. So getting to hole 18, there were uh, there wasn't really much that was said between Tom and I. I again, like I said, I knew we both knew that hole 18 of those holes that I did not feel I could birdie. Based on all of my practice rounds,
Mm-hmm.
it was going to take three absolutely perfect shots to get the birdie. So it wasn't impossible, but it wasn't something that I accomplished during practice. So
Sure. Sure.
my plan was par on that hole. We both knew that, and so when he didn't tell me that I needed to birdie this hole, or whatever, I knew that just meant, okay, just do what I had planned, get a par, and well, that should be good. But uh, so that was good. I had all these thoughts. I knew that, I kind of knew the scenario. I still didn't know how many strokes I had necessarily, but I knew that my game plan was what I had to just stick with, and that was going to be enough. So yeah, we both progressed up the fairway, and obviously Jess is playing aggressive. She was well aware of the scores,
Mm-hmm.
and she threw an amazing tee shot way down the fairway, past those first few trees. Another amazing shot, second shot to get her way up past that last big bush. Whereas I kind of, a little bit shorter off the tee, kind of landed right next to that bush, which is about how I played it the day before and got my par. So I knew I was roughly in the same positions, and I could just throw exactly the same shot. Um, and So I throw my third shot, which is right in the landing zone, kind of right between that last huge big bush, and Jess throws her third shot and absolutely parks it. And then she was going to get a birdie, no matter what. And at that point, I look at Tom and I ask, "Does that seal the deal for her?" Because I was
You
like,
didn't know.
maybe if she got a birdie, that would mean, I don't know, something, I don't know. I just didn't really know. And he just, again, said no.
No.
So
Get to work.
yeah,
No.
that was the word of the day, I think, that
Okay.
day. Um, and I said, okay. So I, got to my third shot and threw my fourth shot, which was again almost identical to the
Mhm.
the shot that I had the first round. Um, kind of threw it a little lazy, but I was happy to see that it trickled into circle one. And that not the putt that I would want to have to try to win the event, but it was one that I had made plenty of times before, so I'm just glad that it was in circle one.
And so you're
Um,
you're stepping
and
up as our viewers
yeah,
are seeing it on screen. You're stepping up, and what's going through your mind?
uh, nothing. I honestly completely blank. I just knew I had to, just go through my routine and take my deep breaths and settle down. This was right after, I confirmed with Tom, and I kind of knew this in my heart, but I confirmed with Tom. I asked him, "What is this putt for?" And he said, "If you make it, you win." And I just said, "Okay."
Wow.
I mean, yeah.
So, so I knew, worst comes to worst, it goes to a playoff, and, you know, we'll see how many holes we have to get through. But yeah, I was shaking, and I honestly, I couldn't believe how calm I was during the putt. But it wasn't until after that my body just started, trembling, and I couldn't believe I just did that. And what a fitting way for me to take down my first win with a big 25-foot putt, in front of really nice, a huge gallery. That was, yeah, it was there all weekend, and they were awesome, and they stuck it out through the weather. It was really cool.
Wow, there's so many cool things. I seriously got chills with every angle we just showed. So many cool things about it. First of all, solid putt. It didn't trickle in. I mean, it was just about perfect on the pole, good height, right, left. Like everything about it was as solid and as confident as probably any other putt, and then some throughout the weekend. So I think that's like, to borrow Nate Doss's phrase, like was such a statement about like, hey, this is in, and I absolutely just earned it. And that I think is incredible. And then arguably my second favorite part to it all is Paige, who, correct me if I'm wrong, like Paige was there at your Am Worlds that you had played back in 17, and helped get you sponsored, or was influential in getting you on your first major sponsorship.
Totally.
And you battle with her, you travel with her, and there she is, maybe even more excited than you, and she's filming you. She's filming you. One of the best of all time is filming you, and has this joy and excitement as she's watching one of her best friends beat her and take down this title. I mean, how? Please elaborate. Is that insane?
I mean, I didn't know that she was videoing my final putt. She still has to putt out, and she had like a 15-footer to finish her round. But yeah, it honestly, I didn't think about the fact that our whole history, and how she's basically was there just watching her, her, I don't know, her the person that she took under her wing, and you know my mentor, I would say,
Hmm.
that she was just, yeah, I mean, she didn't have the day that she was hoping for, but I think that if it wasn't her, she wanted it to be me. So, to have her there, and be that supportive, and be. Yeah, she might have been more excited than me. I honestly, I don't know, because I was just so in shock. I think she. It's always different when you're looking from the outside. Yeah, it was, I don't know, I couldn't even put it to words. It was just really cool to be able to battle with her, and then also, have her there cheering for me as well. We're super supportive of ourselves, and she's always believed in me, and I mean, she wouldn't have helped me as much as she did throughout the years if she didn't believe that I could do what I did. So yeah, it was cool to have her there cheering me on.
Is history? Am I hope my history is not too muddied. You guys possibly first met at the Rocky Mountain Women's, and
Yes.
right? You guys met there, and then by the next year was probably the Am Worlds. I believe you took. Did you take second or third in the Quad
I took
Cities?
third, and it was the same year. Yes,
Okay.
it was Quad Cities.
Yeah,
Yes,
in the Quad
yeah,
Cities, so
yes.
Iowa, Illinois area. Paige, I remember the conversation, and Paige and the team saying, hey, will this mess her up if we go essentially get her a sponsorship before she plays her final 9? I remember being in on that conversation just as kind of a sideline guy at the time. But overhearing that conversation, and I think it was Paige who was adamant, like, no, she's gonna be just fine. Let's tell her this and make this happen. And I just all of it is so incredible. And I tell people all the time, and I'm gonna be a little selfish for a moment. Those are the reasons why I love covering the sport and watching you guys and watching it progress, because seeing that relationship start and then grow to what it is, to then watching you succeed, to me just brings me so much joy to watch it as well. So I can't congratulate you enough. It was awesome.
Thank you. Yeah, it was awesome.
So huge paycheck.
$4,000.
$4,000.
Yeah.
I don't care what division, what year, it doesn't matter. That's a legitimate paycheck. Hats off to the Des Moines club and everyone over at the Des Moines Challenge, Ty and his whole crew. Raising the bar here within the Pro Tour, Elite Series. But $4,000 paycheck, not too shabby. What was the splurge, the celebratory, thing that maybe you wouldn't have done had you not won?
A few nails to put up that trophy.
Yeah, hammer and nails.
What's so funny is that before the event started, I saw that the weather might be a little tricky, and I have a rain jacket, but it's like one of those thicker ones. It's not really like great for when it's warm out. And so it was actually before the event started, like the day before, that I went over to, one of the local sporting goods stores or whatever, and splurged on a very nice rain jacket, one that was lighter and packable and whatever. And I was like, I felt so like guilty about it. I was like, do I need this? I already have one. It's like, this is expensive, blah, blah, blah.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll say that was my splurge, and maybe it was, in advance. But
prophetic, I think, maybe. I mean, maybe. It's perfect.
Maybe.
Like the fact that the tournament, was laden with these delays and these weather challenges, and you were you were thinking about investing in yourself and in your game, and that was going to be a tool or a resource that was going to better your chances. And sometimes it can be tough if you're not used to spending, buying that better equipment, but again, maybe that was all in the stars and how things aligned. So
maybe, and I didn't even use it, honestly. It was
exactly.
I used it in the beginning. I used it in the beginning of the last round, because it was actually kind of chilly because it was windy.
Mm-hmm.
But so I used it as like a wear. But now I have it, and
I honestly, I love that, because I feel like I don't know if it's foreshadowing or what, but that's just serendipitous. I don't know what the word is, but just the fact that that's a purchase that then, like you said, you barely even needed. But yet the tournament had so many of those conditions. So I think that's awesome. Clearly we're heading into the second half of the madness of the year, and madness in a good way, but also the intense grind week after week after week. Are you taking this weekend off before the super heavy battle that's in front of us? Or are you playing this weekend, or what are you doing?
No, I mean, I had thought about playing the CCR Open,
Mm-hmm.
another discraft event, but I just never had signed up for it, and so and then I also was signed up for an event in New York.
Mm-hmm. I saw
I'm not
that.
really sure what we were thinking, but it's because I had won it. It didn't happen last year, but I had won it the year before, and so it was like maybe I can go back and see some New York people and try to defend my title and try to figure out if we could drop the camper somewhere in Michigan or something and head back. It's like 10 hours. It's really not that bad. If we didn't have the camper, it would be a lot easier, but it
Mm-hmm.
just sounded like a lot of work. And then winning this weekend, I was just like, yeah, I'm just going to take a week off.
I think a vacation's in due.
I'm just gonna roll around in
Yeah.
all this money. I got this.
So you're
So
going
yeah,
from
I have the weekend off.
Okay.
so you're going from Des Moines over to Deglow, right? That's
Yeah.
correct.
Yeah.
Which route did you guys take to get there? You go up through northern Wisconsin and take the scenic route, or did you go down and around Chicago?
We are actually currently up in northern Wisconsin, almost at the UP, but just outside of there. And we're gonna kind of hang out and maybe do some kayaking or something, and take the long way around through the UP and then back down.
Very nice.
Yeah, we love hearing that.
Mhm.
I know some of the DGPT staff right now are going up and going that route. We love hearing
Mhm.
the people that are taking, at this time of year when we come, Preserve and Deglow and back and forth and whatnot, when they're taking advantage of northern Wisconsin, Upper Peninsula of Michigan. It's awesome to hear. You're one that loves to go out and explore and take in a little bit of nature and adventure. Is that a good way to put it?
Mhm. Yeah, I'd say so. We actually just bought an inflatable kayak, so we're trying to make use of that as much as possible.
Sweet. And so then, as Johnny was just saying, Deglow, Preserve, Ledgestone, Idlewild. I mean, just
Right.
the whole gambit. You run them all throughout
Mhm.
for the next few weeks, and then
Yeah.
then things come back over to the East Coast where we see Stafford Open. You might possibly do in the Silver Series,
I am.
right? And then Delaware, MVP, all those. I mean, it's a grind. You ready?
Yeah, yeah. I'm ready. I'm not going to Delaware after
Okay.
Stafford. I have to go to a wedding,
Okay.
which is nice. But yeah, so that's going to be a little bit of a break also, So it is giving up a national tour spot, but it's okay. I am fully doing the rest of the tour, so I think I'm doing Music City. I just haven't signed up for that yet. I hope
Okay.
there's spots.
I know we saw Paige last night. She's like, I just got into Delaware, so she's
Oh,
she's
nice.
trying to get in all that she can.
Only 100 people
Yeah.
are being allowed in, I believe, to Delaware. So
Yeah,
it's a tight,
long
Yeah.
course
tight one.
and okay. So of course, I mean, such an incredible rise and you've said to me multiple times this year that you have the skills, that you can win. It's just a matter of putting together for all 3 rounds or in this case the 2 rounds back to back that you needed. What's your message to maybe an aspiring touring man or woman, or to someone that's thinking about going onto the tour or just getting their feet wet into big events or local events? What are some words of insight or wisdom as we've watched you blossom into the champion that you are?
Putting is key. Like work on your putting, and no, I'm totally honest. I don't think. Yeah, I think that the amount of times that putting has saved myself and a lot of other people. I, you know, it's just such an important skill, and it's really made me the player that I am, just having such a confident putting stroke, and so just really work on that, and the distance will come. Don't try to just throw 500 feet, yeah, or 400 feet, whatever it is. Just learn your discs, and be really comfortable with what your game is. And I think that if you can have a solid putting routine, you're going to be just fine. But also just never give up. There were a couple weeks there recently that I was not really feeling so great about my game, and it's easy to let those moments sort of overshadow all of the other great things that you accomplished leading up to then. And so, just keeping everything in perspective and knowing that if you want something bad enough and you're willing to work hard enough for it, then you can do it. So yeah, yeah. I don't know. Just if you want to come out here and be on tour, just know that it's gonna be hard, and you have to be comfortable with being uncomfortable, and just put the work in, and yeah, just want it enough, and you'll be able to accomplish it in time.
And invest in a good rain jacket.
Yes, that hopefully you don't
Yes.
have to use. Hopefully you can just
Right.
keep packed away. So I guess pardon
I
the
literally
pun.
wait. Hold on.
Yeah.
I literally wore it. I wore it into the supermarket after that round got canceled because it's usually cold in there anyway. So it was my excuse to wear it for the first time.
She's gonna be wearing it in Idlewild every single weekend. We're just gonna see her wearing it. It's like, I paid good money for this damn thing.
I'm going to use it.
So I guess maybe pardon the pun, but does this open the floodgates? Like you've cracked that nut. You've put yourself on the top. You know you could do it. You've always known you could do it, and now you've done it. I mean, you bested literally 3 or 4 of the best other women on the planet, all of which you compete with, week in and week out. What does that do for your confidence? What does that do for your psyche in moving forward?
Yeah, it feels like there's just such a huge like weight lifted off of my shoulders. Like you said, I knew that I could do this. And when it came down to it, I couldn't believe that I did it. But it was just sort of it's just sort of yeah, just such a great feeling to finally do what I've been trying to do for so many, now years. And yeah, I think you still have to take every event as it is. And I think that I'm starting to develop a better work ethic in terms of my practice routine, and how much I really focus during my practice rounds. And yeah, just starting to find my rhythm, from the first day of practice to the last round of competition. So I think for me, it definitely does raise my confidence, and I think I don't think this will be my last win. So yeah, I think it definitely opens the doors for me to be a little bit more yeah, sure of myself out there, and know that I can definitely do this again. And I just have to play my game, and know what I can do, play within my limits, or my own game. And yeah, I'll be fine. It's all going to come together, and I'll be able to do it again.
As
2
long as
bogeys.
Tom can keep saying no, you're going to be in good spot.
She had 2 bogeys all weekend.
Right.
Yeah.
That's right there. That's called playing
Yeah.
within yourself, and that's what everybody
Yeah.
needs to look at doing. Congratulations.
Yeah. All right, Missy, we want to hear the shout outs, the accolades, the partnerships, ways people can support you, ways people can find you on socials, all that stuff. Give it to us.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, huge shout out to my sponsors, Discraft, OTB, Discs, Grip Equipment, and Whale Sacks. All of them played such a huge role in my career so far, but also, just this past weekend. Also, you can, yeah, shout out to Tom, my caddy, my life caddy. I mean, I think it's such an advantage to have somebody out there with me that's not only my partner but my best friend, and that can really who also plays disc golf, so he can really help me analyze the courses, and sort of come up with the best game plan that I possibly can to succeed. So that really has been a huge help for me. Also, you can follow me on Instagram at Missy_disc golf. And I think it's the same on Facebook at Missy Disc Golf. It might just be. But I think I'm going to have some custom apparel and stuff coming out on otbdisc.com. So it's going to have my MG logo. I'm going to have a bunch of different color shirts and some hats that you can pick up. Those should be dropping pretty soon, if probably in the next couple of days. So keep a lookout for otbdisc.com, and yeah, just support my sponsors. That indirectly supports me. So yeah, I think that's about it.
Yeah, that sounds right. I think you covered them all. You got Tom, and then you got all the sponsors, the other ones I would have guessed. So to me, that
and
sounds
all
like
all the fans, and everybody who always roots for me. I got all of your messages. Whether or not I responded is another thing, but I definitely saw them all, and I thank you guys so much for continuing to support me. And I'm finally, happy that I could bring us a win. So thank you guys.
Absolutely. Well, Missy, again, it's been a pleasure. It's been awesome watching you rise and get into the FPO division, and then be right there and to take down this large event along with a large paycheck in front of a great gallery and crowd. It's been really awesome. Certainly something I'll never forget as well. So thank you for joining us tonight. Of course, you're always welcome here on the show, win or not. You're welcome here. But we love
first of many wins.
Yes,
I'm sure
we love catching up with you
right.
anytime we can. So thank you and have a good night.
Thank you guys for having me. It was a pleasure.
Of course. Thank you.
All right.
Good
See
night.
you, Missy. Good night. All right. Our champion from this weekend.
First time Elite Series winner.
I mean, that's why you grind. That's why you're on the tour. That's why you put in the work. That's why you travel around the country. You're dedicating your life and everything, your heart and soul, which we know she's doing, to going out there and competing with the best. And I can't imagine that feeling of thinking, one of her best friends in Paige Pierce and of course two-time world champ in Katrina Allen and Kristen Tatar, it was a great battle. Yeah. And then Jessica, you can't slight Jessica in any way
she
either.
Came in second.
As she came charging up. Yeah, that's my point.
I think she birdied 4 of her last 9 holes and had no bogeys. She was making a run at it. And then the phenomenal approach on 18 where she pinned it for a birdie. There weren't many birdies on 18 all weekend, and she stepped up clutch on 18 to get it.
Yeah, her and Jessica and Paige were the only two in round 2 to get hole number 18 for birdie.
I think there might have been only 2 all weekend.
And then they were the only two. Yeah, they didn't. Nobody got it in round 1. Jessica and Missy were of only a couple people that actually parred it in round 1. Raven, Klein, Holly Finley, and Sarah Holcomb. So even getting par in round 1 was difficult enough on hole 18. And as you said, I noticed the same thing about her scorecard, the 2 bogeys. She played the course so consistently and within her own game. In round 1, in round 1, she birdied holes 4, 5, and 6, and 11. Round 2, she birdied 4, 5, and 11. So she had 4 birdies first round, 3 the second round, and 3 out of the 4 were the same. So very consistent, very much within her game plan. Of course, she would have probably loved to get a few more, but I think one of the biggest things of that whole conversation is she said she knew where her limitations were and she wasn't trying to push it. She wasn't going to go do something that she either didn't prep for or plan on or think was within her game plan. And to have that discipline, I think, is very tough. It's easy to get frustrated and or feel like you need to push, especially if you're seeing a Paige or a Jessica or a Kat, push forward.
Because you can easily think, I can get 30 more feet on this. I can push this drive just a little more. It'll give me such an easier approach. No. And that's when you start making mistakes.
Yeah. So next up, in just a few moments, looks like we're going to also have a couple of champions, or at least a champion. He may have taken down things on the MPO side over at the Des Moines Challenge this past weekend. And also the Funky Farms host himself. It sounds like we're going to have Ben Askren and Paul McBeth. I think they're going to be joining us in just a few minutes.
Are they going to give us a hot cocoa moment?
I don't know if that's going to happen, but we do quickly want to give a shout out, as Johnny just alluded to a little earlier today. it was just today, I believe. That's at least when it got posted to Facebook. But Colton Montgomery had, in fact, proposed.
I watched it today. Mm-hmm. I teared up a little bit. I welled up.
I did too.
Because it was, I knew it was coming because I had heard that it earlier in the day that it happened. So that's why I watched the video. I watched like the last, 2 or 3 minutes of it. And just the way he did it was awesome, first of all.
Yeah.
And then to have him get all emotional, because you think, hey, I'm going to be all prepped for this. I know it's coming. It's not a surprise to him. And to still have it hit him like that. I thought that was really good.
It was very cool. Congratulations, of course, to them. And I love that it was such an easy disc golf tie in how he could get it permanently recorded, put this whole in the bag scenario together to really set up so the camera wouldn't look weird or feel out of place. And so hats off, shout out, congratulations, Team Hot Cocoa forever. Yeah, pretty incredible. So, all right, Johnny, do we have them queued up? Do we have any audio from them? Do we know yet?
Yeah.
Oh man, this looks like it's going to be a mess.
Yeah, we're gonna find out. All right.
All right. So, coming in from what I believe out of our Disc Baron Digital Green Room, and joining us now from the Askren Funky Farms home, Paul McBeth.
And,
are we live?
Yeah, we're live, bro. It's
and Ben
all
Askren. Wait, that's not Ben Askren.
What's going on over there? Holy cow. It's going to be a whole roundtable discussion.
It's going to be a party.
Some celebrities stayed in town, a.k.a. Dylan Cease is still here.
Oh, I thought you meant me.
Yeah. I have to sit next to one of the celebrities. I'm starstruck over here.
Welcome, everyone. We've got Dylan Cease of the Chicago White Sox, Ben Askren, Funky Ben Askren, and Paul McBeth. Gentlemen, how we doing?
Doing great. We actually had to get more disc golf in today, so that was pretty awesome.
All right, so I'm guessing it was held right there at the Funky Farms, right? Because if you guys go anywhere else in the Milwaukee area, you're going to get mobbed.
Yeah. I actually put the normal layout back in, and we played, I think 12 holes in before the rain came. Rained pretty hard, so we got rained out. But I got the island hole ace finally today.
Who hasn't aced that?
Was it clean or awkward? Was it a clean ace? Clean ace right in, or was it off of anything? Off of a tree? All right.
Not off the Yeti.
Not off the Yeti.
Okay. All right, so let's start right there, Ben. Paul, yeah, you won this weekend. Good job over at in Des Moines. But Ben, set up for the world, of course, tons of eyes on the Celebrity Pro-Am. Set the stage. How did that come about? Give us your background and the history to that.
Yeah, so Paul hit me up because some of the European events were canceled, and there was a little bit of free time. And said, kind of what can we do? And they were in Iowa last weekend. They're going to Michigan after this. And, he said, maybe we could do something fun and something different. And he knows I kind of wanted to host a tournament here. And so he put it out there, and we made it happen. And man, I couldn't have been happier with how it turned out. Everyone had so much freaking fun. It was, I was really worried that the celebrities weren't going to be into it. They were like really into it.
Really into it.
Okay, so I'll follow that up. And who surprised you the most, either the excitement level or their actual play? But who surprised you the most, Ben?
You can go first, Dylan. Who surprised you?
Pro or celebrity?
I was gonna.
Well, let's ask Dylan, which pro surprised you the most?
Sure,
and then we'll ask the opposite.
Well, I didn't get to see everyone play.
Okay.
I mean, I saw Paul carry his team.
Jordan made a lot of putts.
Yeah, he was nasty that second round.
Yeah.
I mean, he was really good the second round.
Dylan, now how much golf have you? I mean, I think you were saying last night you consume like post production. You consume it all, don't you? Like, do you watch everything?
Yeah, I mean, I try to watch like the tournaments as much as I can. Joe Mez or what's that?
GK Pro.
GK Pro. I watch that one.
Gatekeeper,
Yeah, so I try to, I watch disc golf a good amount on YouTube. But what was the other part of your question?
So when you're watching these, was it any different? I mean, when we go to a ballpark, you're like, okay, everything's flying faster and the balls, all that other stuff is so impressive on site. When you see professional disc golf, and I know you didn't see every pro yesterday play, but when you see that, are you impressed?
Oh yeah, I mean, I've played with Ricky a little bit at the beginning of this year. And they do stuff that I can't do, I mean, it's fun to watch, but yeah, I felt at home.
Well, I think of all the pros, you took maybe the most advantage of getting tips. It was like in between every chance we had, you were off to the side with somebody getting sidearm tips, getting backhand tips. I think you went from having almost no sidearm to a 400-foot sidearm by the end of the day.
Yeah, I definitely, after the round, I was like, hey, we got some sidearm legends here. Let's start working on it. And I mean, I can't control the angles on it or anything, but I think I can throw it about 400 feet. So yeah, a lot of it's just like, hey, a lot of it's really like, you're using a putter, I'm using a driver. What am I missing here?
How much does your athleticism and your overall background, where does it carry over? How does it transition or translate?
I mean, it probably helps me. It probably helps my form and my mechanics. I mean, it's just tough to say because it's I've only ever played disc golf like that. But
did you start 2 years ago? Yeah,
I mean, I really started heavily playing. I mean, some 2019 off season, but really just like COVID / this off season, I played like 4 or 5 days a week. I'd go lift weights, do my yoga, kind of do stuff to prepare for my season. And then I have a twin brother who actually got me into it. And we would go play one of the 5 courses in our area. And I was doing it all the time. And I went from being like a very, very below average player to being only a moderately below average player. So we got a lot of surprises.
All right. So final question for now, though, is where do you see yourself trying to ever get into tournaments? Of course, you have your own crazy schedule, but is there any conflict there where you wouldn't want to go get more serious about it, or where do you see this, and what's your ceiling with disc golf?
During the season, I wouldn't be able to do it. I mean, I've been trying to play disc golf for like the last 2 months, and I've gotten 1 round in. So in between rain or just being tired from the season, I couldn't do it during the season, but I'm considering doing like some rated leagues in the off season, or maybe making like a YouTube channel where I just film myself playing courses across the country, or playing with Paul or whoever. So awesome. That's more my career is probably going to be just a fan who gets to maybe play at a highish level if he actually practices. So we'll see if we can get me into like the 9. What are we shooting for? Like 950?
950.
Yeah. Yeah. I think we can get 950.
His goal was 900, but I think he can exceed that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
Definitely. I was right behind you when I watched you throw in like 120-foot throw in. I mean, you clearly those are nothing now. Just you a little straddle out, nice Anheuser, smashed it.
I double bogeyed the easier holes here, and then I parked 18. I parked all the double mano holes. I parked all those, birdied those, and then I double bogeyed the easy ones. It doesn't make any sense.
I didn't get a chance to watch you, but that honestly, that sounds like a very, forgive the word, thing to do, because it's a lot harder to dial down your speed and maintain that accuracy. And on Ben's course, you have to be accurate, or you have to learn how to throw something much slower, which is difficult for a lot of people who are just picking up the sport.
You hit one tree and you're off to the side, and then you've got no line. And of course, I don't ever. What's the saying where you take your medicine? I never take my medicine. I'm like, all right, what do I have to do? All right, big roller, never thrown it. Bang. Now I'm way off on the other side, and I'm 6 shots later. I quadruple bogeyed.
That's all part of getting funky out there on the farm. So Ben, tell if somebody doesn't know your history in terms of disc golf. It's not like you just discovered it last week or anything like that. Like, disc golf's been part of your life for a long time, hasn't it?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So I started playing probably senior in high school. I played a couple times, but then I started playing a lot in college with my college teammates. My goal is to be a 1,000 rated player. I got to 996. I took 9 to the Am Worlds twice. And then my other thing was playing courses. So I played 750 courses before I was 30. So I got like really good eye on courses. And then the idea was to someday have a property where I had my own course, and I got there.
So you were just talking about how the configuration is when we started with you guys. Your house, first of all, let's be very clear to the world,
It's a private course.
property. It's literally your backyard. People should not be showing up ever without contacting you. Right?
Talks, we'll see.
Yeah. Hopefully not if people know where it is, but yeah.
Correct.
I said I want to do some small stuff at some time in the future. Right? I got to figure out the right way to do it and all that stuff. But we've 23 holes. They wanted us to condense to 18, so there was a few hole combinations. I took a couple out, so I put in, with the first 4 are for pro level, relatively easy birdies. But we made 1 and 2 1, and then 3 and 4 was 2. So that kind of made those harder holes. So we played those today. It was kind of fun around today. Julian flipping loves disc golf. This guy was, he wanted to play as much as possible. He came back out from the hotel today too. Rick Glenn played with me a bunch when he lived in Milwaukee here, but then he hadn't played so much since he moved back to Iowa. I was actually kind of nervous because I didn't think he was going to do that well. And I guess he, in his solo round, he was plus 26. So he didn't do so well. But he was pumped to come play today. He was really excited.
He talked about it last night.
Yeah.
Wake up and play.
Are you on UDisc yet? Is this course on UDisc?
Yeah, the location's not listed.
Yeah, just the course.
I can mark it.
How many of your AWA guys do you bring out to play? Is that a regular hey guys, this is you get to come out for one round with me, or do you guys come out pretty regularly?
No. Some of the older guys, and a lot of the older guys, the college guys or the seniors, they've helped me build the course, right? And they actually have a little bit of interest in disc, so it's great because they can see oh yeah, that tree's going to be bad, or that branch is not right. They can kind of see that stuff a little bit. So that's been a lot of fun, and they enjoy being out here. And there's probably 1 or 2 high school kids right now that really enjoy it also. But ideally, sometime, this is why I had been holding off on doing the numbering system, I'm going to put the academy on my property also. Wow. And then the parking lot will be right there, and then they could just, hey, I'd rather have the parents go play disc golf than yell at their kids. So go get out. Here's hole number 1. Here's some discs. Go play.
Talk about your design process. I know you and I had a great conversation, but share with the world how passionate you are, and then where do you get influences or criticisms or suggestions from? How does that whole process work for you?
Well, so like I said, I played all the courses, so there was a couple of things an island hole, that was a must-have, and I didn't have water, so I had to make it out of tree stumps, and so then tree stump holes, right? I got 2 baskets in a tree stump. That was a must-have. Hanging baskets, yeah, I do that. One of the first things that I liked about this property was that you come in the driveway and there's this beautiful line of pine trees. It's that's a disc golf hole right there. I don't have to do anything. I'm just gonna put a basket in a tee box and we're good. That's kind of it. We didn't get any water on the property, but we have a lot of hills, a lot of trees, and then so honestly, it was so thick. It was just let's just start cutting some stuff and see where we go. And then it was okay. Oh, there's, I try to leave the big trees. So that's a good tree, and that's a good tree, and that's a good tree. So once you cut a few small ones, you can kind of start seeing paths. And then obviously Paul came up here. I probably only had 10 holes done the first time Paul came, maybe. And then the second time, we'll say maybe 15 to 17, somewhere in there. So, they give me some really good advice. And then honestly, I think that the pros were too nice this week because I wanted some more feedback on what to do, and they all gave me compliments, which I was very flattered by. But I think I'm going to keep manipulating the course to make it better and better and better.
Yeah, he's got surprisingly no holes with lucky trees in the fairway. You got a clean line to a majority of them. It felt like
they're actually hosting the Worlds here next year.
Well, let's put it this way: it was an 18-hole course, and for singles, what was the best score? 49? Was that?
No, 50. 50.
Was it 50? That's a solid. We've seen courses for Pro Worlds that you guys are shooting 10, 11, 12. We hear from everybody that we want harder courses. We want, more score separation on things like that. That's what wooded courses will do for you. Let's host it.
Yeah, done.
Terry's got some experience.
Yeah. Paul doesn't like playing Worlds in Wisconsin.
Once.
Oh,
I got second. Just part of the trend.
Yeah. Oh, too soon. Obviously, as you said, Ben, you talked to Paul about the Pro-Am. What kind of went into what you were trying to accomplish with it, though? I know the timing was there. How did you think about, was this just let's think about who plays disc golf and then, try to get them together? How did like that whole process come together?
Yeah, so the celeb side, it's like my course is not easy. So it's like even some of the celebrities that really like disc golf, they shot in the plus 20 somethings. And so it's like you can't just get new people who've never played out here. That is not going to go well at all. So it's like people have to have an interest in disc golf. But then for the most part, it's like I was just so pumped that they think we're the celebs, but then I was like, dude, I'm so pumped I get like the top 6 guys in the world to come play and 2 of the best females in the world. Like I was so excited to see how they threw and see what lines they took and how well they played. And that was it for me. So I was excited about that. And that was really all I did. Jeff did a lot. I know Paul contacted, like Paul got Dylan to come. So there was a bunch of those type of connections.
Was there anyone that you wanted to see that wanted to come and couldn't make it?
Though I guess the one guy that had been talking about disc golf on Twitter was Barstool Big Cat.
Okay.
He's actually, we have some mutual friends, so I thought maybe we'd get him out here. And then who's the guy today you were showing on YouTube that he's really into it? Huge following, Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
Chris.
From Norway.
From Norway. Yeah,
because there's 2 of them from Game of Thrones. You've got the Mountain as well, who plays, as well as
from Iceland.
as well as Christoph.
Yeah, Christoph. Yeah, he was playing at the Sula, which was happening this last weekend. He still was able to play, obviously being out there in Norway. But yeah, he's all into it and really enjoys it as well. He played last year in the Sula.
Yep.
And that'd be great to have him come over and play. What's that?
It sounds like I'm losing my spot for next year's.
No, it just means we need to bring in more pros.
Yeah. So Ben, talk about the overarching. I mean, talk about the charitable contributions and ties, and like what were some of the other components to this, and then is there an expansion? Like what's next?
The future.
I'm like telling Jeff Spring, like, I just put this on the calendar for next year. I want to host it. Pick something: Iowa, Minnesota, Wisconsin, Michigan. There's enough disc golf up here. When they're crossing somewhere, let's just put it on that week, like we did this one on Tuesday. Mm-hmm. I want to host it really bad. I think we can go probably here to maybe maximum of 16 and 16, so 16 celebs, 16 pros. That might make it tight. I may have to rearrange some of the holes. Maybe I could get that gun club to give me their, just mow it down for a couple big open holes for, the day or something like that. Just to open the course up a little more. But I would love to host it again. And I think it was just really about spreading the word of disc golf. Like I love it. And that was kind of where I said, like, I don't know how much these other celebrities will be into it. Like, I hope they're into it. And they were into it like as much as me, for like all of them. Like there wasn't one celebrity where they weren't totally pumped about being out here playing with the world's best players. Andrew Zimmern was
He's still posting.
He's still posting. He loves it. He's so excited. Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah, and he's, for anyone that doesn't know, obviously being the chef, but Andrew's got like a 25, 30-year history in golf. Like he didn't just pick it up recently. Yeah. He's very open about his sobriety and how kind of disc golf replaced a lot of the negative things in his life. And he's, he latched onto disc golf, and he's forever, being in the Twin Cities, just like Wisconsin, tons of courses, and he's been, forever hooked on it, which is awesome for him to share all of that.
The Penguins, he was really, I don't know who got him connected, but he was really good too. Uh-huh. Kevin Alejandro, which I don't really watch a lot of TV, so I didn't know he was a really big deal. Guest spot by Harrison. It was so cool. I got to play around with him on Friday night. He was just such an awesome dude and was just so excited to be playing disc golf. So it was just the general vibe for the day and a half from the night before to the day of. It was just like everyone was just in a good mood. Everyone was happy. Everyone was happy to be here and spreading disc golf.
Yeah, the funny thing about Kevin is just today I was like, I know I've seen him and I can't remember, so I looked him up on IMDb, and he's been on a few of the superhero shows that I've watched. I'm like, oh, he was on Arrow or whatever, and I was like, Oh, wow, he's in there
Yeah.
a lot. Like, oh man, that's where I knew him from.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was on some shows.
And
And then
so
we haven't talked about Paul's partner, who really carried the team. So Paul,
Dude, the comeback story.
yes.
I have not heard of that one.
All right, let's talk about him. First round, he had 3 pars. That's it.
yeah, he's good.
And
Not the first round,
No,
second
not the
round.
good way. Like
Yeah, yeah.
like only 3 pars and the rest birdies. We're talking the other way.
Yeah. Right?
Well,
Yeah,
in
way
the
more.
alternate shot, he got you. He outplayed me because he got you birdies on 13 and 15.
Yep.
It didn't make any sense.
Yeah, Dylan played both with us. He played with them both rounds, right?
He was nasty the second round.
Yeah.
Maybe he was was he eavesdropping on all the tips you were getting? And he's like, oh, no, I'm going to use these.
I don't know, but he was funny because he was pumped up, and I'm trying to get Paul to hire him to come cut promos
Dude.
from all these tournaments because Paul can talk trash. Jordan will talk some trash for Paul.
He cut a promo that when he cut it, I was like, man, we're gonna have to back this up. We're gonna have to back this one up. And,
There are
up.
things that he said that we can't even say on this podcast. When he talked some good trash.
And yeah, afterwards he said when the tough got going, I got going.
Oh yeah,
Jordan carrying the team.
yeah. When the going got tough, yeah.
Honestly,
I got
their
going.
team name, I'm still laughing at their team name.
Death
Death by
by-
McBeth.
Yeah.
Great. But so you think about the second round, Paul had to take at least 9 of Jordan's shots, right? An alternate shot, unless you didn't ace any of those.
5 of his tee shots.
But
Yep.
then you had second shots too,
Yeah.
even if they were even.
Yes.
But 9 of his shots, and the best score of the first round was -9, and they shot -13 in the second round. It's so crazy.
Yeah.
I know it. None of that makes sense. Trust me. I mean, I saw Paul halfway through the round. He's like, yeah, we're like 4 down through the front 9 or through the alternate. I'm like, what are you doing? Like, you're not supposed to be shooting that well in alternate with someone who just shot like 1,000 over in singles.
Yeah. Plus,
It didn't make any sense. I was there for it.
So,
and I picked him. I wasn't giving him. I picked him. I just saw something in him.
Saw the potential.
one of my favorite parts about the afternoon was seeing Julian and Jordan just talking trash. I mean, they were yelling at each other.
Every time they crossed fairways.
Yeah, from like across the fairways, they were just yelling at one another. They were certainly enjoying themselves.
Oh yeah.
So
And then,
Ben,
yeah, I think it worked because it was first and second. You know, they were both on the first. Like Jordan was on the winning team and Julian was on second place. So
yep. So you know, we see the interactions of the golfers and there's rivalries, but there's still friendships and there's travel pods. Is there any of that? Like, there's got to be cliques and such in MMA, right? I mean, and I mean, do you get along with everybody or?
No, hell no. But you have your team, you have your teams, right? So you train with the team, and most of the, I don't say the major players are with a more major team, right? So they're going to have 6, 8, 10, 12 Harrisons, 10, 12 guys fighting out of that gym. Maybe some of the big gyms even more than that. And then obviously, some guys change gyms, so that it does become kind of a tighter circle, but not. Yeah, I mean, there's obviously still rivalries there, big time.
And obviously, I mean, even if there was any animosity, I mean, you're getting along with everyone at the sake of an event like this, right? Just like all of our golfers do.
Paul was trying to make sure they all lost. He was telling them the wrong routes and everything, but I was enjoying it. I wanted to do good on the celeb portion, and I did good. Casey tied me. I thought I shot a really good round. It was my set. So I had the advantage of playing I played 10 rounds on the layout.
Whoa.
That's fair.
Home course advantage, bro.
He made the Mando signs, so I mean, honestly.
This course shooting under. Under what? I made -1, -1, -5. I don't know.
There we go. Yeah. So I mean, I was happy. I mean, I took a 6 on the island hole, which if I don't take that 6, then it's going to be a really, really good round. but I was very happy with how I played in the first round. Second round, Paige and I, we had a tough go at it. Neither one of us were really clicking all that hot. We both had a handful of really good shots, but then like I let my partner down on the first one. It was a really easy shot. I dinked it off the tree into the fake water. The pine tree hole, I dinked it in the woods. So we floored both of those. That was no good. So I kind of let my partner down a little bit.
That's right. I'm sitting next to somebody who, when we picked the teams, a lot of people were picking you guys, you and Eagle. Like, you having around between 930 and 950 rating round. Eagle right now, according to some spots, is like rated the 1 or 2 in the world, and that didn't work out so well for you guys, did it?
I'm not gonna throw blame around. I'm just gonna say. No, I'm just kidding. All right, so Ben, talk about the charitable. I mean, you had sponsors for this. There was money that was raised during an ace throw off, and then it got matched by Andrew. What were some of those highlights? You know, the feel good moments in addition to all the fun.
Yeah. So, well, Paul and Jordan, they won. They were able to give $10,000 to charity, and then there was, I think it was $1,000. So then it was the 2,000. And the ace. Who got the ace? I don't remember.
James
off
with
of
another
tree.
holy shot.
Yeah, it like hit a tree, popped straight up, and fell down right into a basket. It had no business going in. And
so as far as the charities too, I don't know who James donated to, but I know for Jordan, he donated to the Paul McBeth Foundation, and then I donate. So he donated 5,000. I donated 5,000 to the Lucky Finn Project.
I believe James picked Uplay, is what I think I heard.
Yeah, okay. And then Andrew threw in extra money. So a lot of, there was so much hype. Everybody saw the celebrities and the pro golfers coming into Wisconsin, and everybody was just screaming, "How do I see it? How do I get there? Can I buy tickets? Can I make donations?" Expand on what you see being feasible, and what were some of the limitations here, Ben?
Oh, in the future?
Yeah, either this year's limitations or next year's, potential growth, or still the limitations.
So I mean, Jeff has talked to us about doing potentially a celeb prime in the winter somewhere in the South, and maybe doing that with like fans there. But the feedback I got from the celebs was like, everyone just loved how low key it was, and they didn't have to be on their toes because there was a bunch of fans here asking questions. It was just like everyone could just be themselves, and all of the video is going to come out. I'm putting some of it out on my Rockfin channel. I know Jordan's got a vlog coming out. A couple other people are vlogging, and then obviously the DGN is going to put out a whole bunch of stuff from it also. So there should be a video coming out. And so after all the feedback I got, I would just kind of keep it probably as is for next year. Maybe a couple like golden tickets or something to that effect, where a couple people get to come out for a fan experience. But I mean, for us, for me, it's really just those 50 fans or 100 fans that would be able to come out aren't going to add that much, as opposed to hopefully all these celebrities that are outside of the disc golf world pushing disc golf. Like my fans, I probably don't have a big disc golf fan base, right? So them seeing, oh, what's that? That kind of looks fun. Oh, I saw that at this park when I was driving down the street, and then Dylan's doing it, Andrew's doing it, and all these other people are doing it. And then, that's kind of disc golfing. I don't know. I mean, it's addictive. Like you get out there, you start throwing 100%. And you it is, right? You want to see the way it flies.
Addicting. I've said it before. Disc golf's addicting.
It's so addicting. So hopefully we can get some new disc golfers playing.
Well, we've said before, it's a lot of that is because how quickly you can see progress in disc golf. Like you start out throwing a disc and you're horrible, but with like 2 or 3 tips and 2 or 3 rounds, you've cut off 20 strokes from whatever you did previous. And your first couple, that's what gets you hooked, those first couple of rounds. And then a lot of people will hit a nice plateau and then get frustrated. but it's those first few rounds that really get you in the game.
So Dylan, go ahead. Sorry.
I said, then you get your first ace and you're hooked.
Yeah, exactly.
Have you had in it? How many aces do you have, Dylan?
I have 1 ace and I have 3 like spit outs.
Where is the ace at?
Wills Park in Milton, Georgia.
Okay. So following that, what has been your outreach? I mean, do you have other players asking you that want to go out and play? Are you constantly explaining disc golf to people? Like what's that been like for you?
Yeah, I've got. So I'll go out with Lucas Giolito a little bit. Carlos Rodon went out with me to help me prepare for this event. I got a couple guys that are interested, but it's kind of tough during the season. You know, everyone's so focused on baseball. But yeah, I mean, anyone who wants to learn how to play, I definitely want to go out and play.
And Paul, have you thought more about? Well, actually, let me rephrase that. How has this experience been for you? You're one of our most high-profile players. You have this great outreach. You're doing so many things with the foundation and just everything about your name and your profile. What is this like for you to see other athletes and celebrities getting involved with disc golf?
It was incredible. I mean, the event was one of the most fun times I've ever had playing disc golf. And meeting so many people that just absolutely love disc golf, and it's their hobby. So they're coming here with so much excitement to where at this point in the tour, some of us are kind of starting to get burnt out. We just had Worlds, we had all these other events. So like disc golf's like, I don't know if I want to go on the course. And then this is just like so refreshing, just seeing the passion that they have for disc golf. And similar to like with the foundation, when I went down to Mexico, it was something new. They were very excited about it, just for something new. But, having all the celebrities here and just seeing, how much they loved it, and then being able to go out and play some more because Dylan didn't want to leave. Ben has his course.
We had to play catch too.
Yeah, and
baseball, disc golf.
I caught it, right?
Yep.
How hard did you throw it at him? Did you give him the full or just warm-ups?
No, I gave him probably like maybe in the 70s. Close to 70s, but I snapped off some off speed and he caught them all.
No problem.
Yeah.
Who's your? I believe you had told me last night that you pitched right before the All-Star break, and you're pitching. Is it the first game back after the All-Star break?
So I pitched against Baltimore, and then I'm pitching game 1 against the Astros.
Okay.
Paul, do you wish you were playing baseball ever? Do you ever think about other sports? Is there going to be any other sport outside of disc golf for you?
Maybe if there's a celebrity baseball game. I think baseball would be the only one that I would love to really go play. But yeah, I mean, just playing catch and stuff was a lot of fun. Him throwing the off speed and just still being able to read it the same way, reading the spin, reading all that, seeing which way it's moving and stuff, and even hearing it, hearing the sound of a certain pitch that he's throwing and stuff like that. So it's that would be the one if I had a choice for sure.
No wrestling, no. Yes.
That's fun,
He might fight Brody. We'll see. We're trying to set that up.
Okay.
We will broadcast that live.
Yeah,
I
for
guarantee
it. So I know the Pro Tour has some ideas for things to do, some unique events. Ben, do you feel like is this going to be the catalyst? Is this going to start a whole spin-off of all sorts of other crazy events that we might see? Would you like to see that?
Yes, and I hope so. And I just think that disc golf is at this inflection point, and a lot of people point to Corona last year. But the other thing is the Disc Golf Network, and I'm sure there's going to be others also that are covering the sport. And I saw it happen with wrestling. It's this virtuous cycle where because more people can watch wrestling, more people are interested in people talking about wrestling. Because more people are talking about wrestling, more people want to watch wrestling, right? And it's just this cycle. And that's what's happened like the last 5 years in wrestling since Flo really kind of gave us the ability to watch things live. Like Dylan's spoiled. We've been able to watch baseball since 1932. We couldn't watch live wrestling until 2015 really on a regular basis. And we couldn't watch live disc golf because I would have done it until really like
around the same time. 2015,
yeah.
2016, something like that.
Yeah. So that virtuous cycle, I think, is really going to help the sport grow. I've seen it with wrestling for sure. I think it's happening with disc golf, and I just think disc golf's at this point where it's going to take off. So hopefully, this event and a couple other events can kind of keep that trajectory going.
So, I was like, were you happy? Were you happy with the weekend in general, or the weekday, or would you like to see it expanded to a 2-day event? I know the previous day was a lot of an icebreaker. There was, I think, a dinner or something. Would you like to see this expanded into a 2-day event where you guys do skills challenges? I heard some of that stuff kind of bouncing around.
I think what I'm suggesting is I think we could do 2 rounds of the Celeb and Pro together, like the doubles. I think that was probably the more fun round for people. So I think we could do just a little more the night before. And I suggested a few things like an easy 9 holes or something like that, where the pros can watch the celebrities, like the pros are the field, they're watching watching us, like, ooh, I want that person or that person, or like a skills challenge for the celebs, like a distance, an ace race, a putting challenge. Again, so the pros can watch, and then the pros all have ratings, right, or rankings. So whoever is the lowest rated or ranked, they pick first, and then you go down the list, and they each get to pick their partner for the next day. I think that would be a really fun format for next year.
All right, so I'm kind of backtracking slightly to what you were just talking about, the trajectory and the growth and inflection of all that. Dylan, I'll throw the question to you. What is disc golf missing to be even on a grander scale? Like, is there anything that seems obvious to you, like, man, why isn't the sport doing blank? Is there anything you feel like we're not taking advantage of, whether it's the players or media or whatever? Is there anything like that?
I mean, I think the media has been pretty good. Like, for me, just being able to watch him on Jomez, like, that was enough for me, where I was like, I get to come home and I know I've got a round I can go watch if I want to. I think big contracts being introduced into the sport is only going to help it explode. You know, I mean, obviously, anytime there's financial implications, that's going to draw attention and draw eyes. So, yeah, I mean, I'm with him. I think it's trending in the right direction, and I think it's going to explode. So I also think that it's one of those sports where you don't have to be super naturally athletic. You don't have to be naturally talented. If you're willing to work at it, you can at least be a decent, serviceable player and go have fun, with your friends. And if obviously the top pros they're doing something different, whether, it's their hand-eye coordination or their strength or whatever. I mean, they're doing something different. But yeah, for the most part, this is a sport that if you stick with it, you can be at least a serviceable enough player to have a good time.
Ben, and I guess that kind of ties into almost every time over the last few years when I see you have a chance to slide disc golf into a national or international conversation, you do. And people like me have geeked out about it. I love it. You talking about going and trying to get new courses in when you're in a different city and such like that. Has there ever been, I mean, what's been like maybe the funniest or most awkward response to any of that? I mean, people challenge you on that, right? Like, what the hell are you talking about kind of thing?
It's weird. I think everyone's like, that's weird. Whatever. But hey, for Dylan's question, I think the media coverage is huge. Right, to what we were talking about, I think that's really going to steamroll. The other thing, and maybe it's this guy, and maybe it's someone 3 to 5 years old, but like a personality, like we all saw what Tiger Woods did to golf, or we saw what Hasbulla did to fighting, right? McGregor, a personality that catches on, right? And for whatever, like, I always struggle with this, like, what makes a superstar, because like there's been certain people who I've been really into, like say a Demetrius Johnson, who never really caught on as a pay-per-view superstar. Or even like a Khabib was not nearly as big as Conor is. And Conor's a shitbag, but he draws eyeballs, and that's what if disc golf can get someone like that, and there is.
So they need a bad boy.
They need I mean, yeah, probably. He's not a bad boy.
He said the one pro he really.
What's that, Paul?
Nico, I want Nico here. I wanted here. Nico, you didn't show up at my course. Now I'm pissed. You come here, I'm going to put you in a sleeper hold.
Nico likes to wrestle, so that would be entertaining. That would be very entertaining.
Yes, I played the St. Louis Open for like 3 or 4 years in a row when he was probably 14, 15, 16, I think he was 16 and he killed all the I think it was advanced AM. I think he might have been trying to win an Emerald title that year or something like that. So I would have loved to see him. That would have been fun.
Well, I think we just need a mic'd up round between Jordan and Julian.
Yeah.
And we'll sell tickets to that. Even if it's 9 holes, I think you get 18 holes worth of enjoyment out of that, because those guys were vocal. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, I was going to say, I wonder how they fare head to head. So
it was close based on the singles round.
Julian,
I can look.
well, the first one.
Yeah,
Can't
yeah.
go.
Julian shot plus 23. Jordan shot plus 27. So it was close. And
Okay.
I watched second round. I watched Julian. He was draining putts, and he had some
pretty
really
good
good
day, too.
drives.
I didn't think. Yeah, Dylan was pretty good.
Well, I think that was the big thing is they got tips between the 2 rounds, and their
Sure.
games really flipped a switch.
Yeah, and especially playing 2 rounds with so the first round was 2 celebs and 2 pros in each card, even though they were playing together. So just like having someone who's one of the best in the world saying like, oh, maybe just turn it this way, or maybe snap your wrists more, or no, don't do that shot. That's really stupid, dude. Like that's gonna save you a lot of strokes.
Yeah.
We're just being able to watch.
Yeah.
Yeah. The two big tips too. So like Julian never looked at the basket when he threw. He just turned around and then threw it. And then Jordan only had 2 discs that he came here with.
Quadruple this.
Yeah, the players back had 6 discs, but then he had brand new discs in
Then
the
the
second
confidence
round.
came.
Yeah,
Oh man, I got tools to work with.
and then those are the 2 things that those guys needed.
Yeah, you just need more discs. I mean, that's what a player pack is, right? The celebrity player pack. That's all he needed to load it up. Ben, are people everywhere want to know? Are we going to see you in more tournaments, like PDGA sanctioned tournaments?
I got one on the calendar. Brody talked me into it. Johnny talked me out of it.
I didn't talk you out of it. Ouch! I need to get off camera right now.
You're not supposed to get out of this one. I'm going to try to qualify for the USDGC. So there's Mondays work great for me. Weekends are hard. But there's a Monday qualifier you guys told me.
Yeah.
In South Carolina. Oh, I've always wanted to play that course anyways because it looks tremendous.
Mm-hmm.
So that's Monday, October 4 or 5. And then Paul has agreed to caddy me also. So that should save me at least 4 or 5 strokes.
I can't play, so I might as well caddy, right?
Yeah. I mean, you just go out there, give him some tips. I mean, that's an easy track.
Hey, if we can get a big tournament pushed to November, I'm there.
I mean, in southern Wisconsin, just about an hour from where you played, I run a tournament right after Thanksgiving every year. I mean, Wisconsin.
Is it PDGA sanctioned?
It sure is. I'll put you on the list the day I put up the registration. If you want to come play, I'll sponsor your registration.
Do you?
Okay.
Where do you do training camp? Is it Florida or Arizona usually?
Arizona. So I spend my off season. I spend roughly October to February, early February in Georgia, and then I go to Arizona for spring training.
Okay.
Yeah, because were you talking to Ricky last night about like playing in Maricopa and Phoenix and that area, maybe in the springtime or no?
That's how when they're there for the memorial, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm there at similar time, and then I played Fountain Hill with Rookie and my twin brother Alec. And it was like the windiest day of all time. It's like the hardest, like 5 or 6.
Yeah.
It's like 5.
I
bought this.
You
Paul
did?
McBeth.
I
No.
found one of his.
I bought this Paul McBeth Huck Lab. I think it was a 4-time destroyer. I'm like, man, this disc is sick. And my brother sees it, and I can just see his eyes light up. And I'm like, here, you can have this. And he's so happy. And then we go there, and he throws it in the water, and I was heartbroken.
So that begs the next question: is it felt like half the celebrities that showed up yesterday are already sponsored or have some form of support. I know Wes does with Innova, Andrew's with Innova, number of different sponsorships. Dylan, is he with Dynamic?
Yeah.
Or not Dylan?
No,
sorry,
no,
Casey.
Casey's
with Dynamic, right?
Casey's good. We have to talk about him. He can
Yeah.
play.
He's nasty.
He
Really
certainly
good,
is. Tell the world what you saw in Casey's game yesterday.
I didn't see Casey.
Oh, I saw one shot on the new number 2, which is 3 and 4 combined here. He threw a bomb Anheuser and then it goes down a hill, so you got to be able to put it back because it's not going to stop. And he put it right next to the basket, and that I think I got 1-3 there in 10 rounds, and he got a 3 on that hole. It was really impressive.
Wow.
Yeah,
That
he's
was
got
insane.
impeccable form.
That might be a touchy subject for Dylan because I watched the most beautiful throw on that hole that got robbed by a tree branch. You would have.
On the hill.
I truly believe you would have parked that hole with the way it was going. It caught that last branch.
Yep. Yep.
So Dylan, I'll ask you then, playing out there, Is there anything that you would love to you loved about the course, or that you'd love to change, or anything? Did you find it the right amount of challenge? Like, what was your takeaway on the course? I mean, Ben's sitting right next to you and all, but what's your takeaway?
I'm open. Give me the feedback.
I like the uniqueness of a lot of like the up and downhill shots. Like where I play, I don't really get a whole lot of that. I get your generic and highs around a tree or highs around a tree, you know? So I liked the uniqueness of it. I mean, really that was one of the more fun courses I think I've played. So, you know, I mean, I'm sure they're going to find ways to make it better, but I had no complaints about it.
And Ben, right now you've got mats out there. You've prepped them and everything. You don't see yourself changing that up? Do you kind of like the natural feel to it with how you've got the tees done and such?
Yeah.
Or do you have other ideas?
I really like the rubber tee pads. They're great. I think I'll keep those for sure. I mean, the one of kind of grand scheme of things is there's just so much dog crap trees here, like the buckthorn and the other stuff. And at some point, I want to plow it all down and then put pine trees, right? But at this point, I can't plow it all down because I need dividers between the fairways. And then, like on that back hill, if I can make a few rows of pine trees that divide the holes, it'll also more properly reward and punish good and bad shots. You know, because sometimes on that back hill, there's some, if it hyzered out, where it will go all the way down into the field, which you're playing across 2 or 3 fairways. But then there's a couple openings where you can shoot back up the hill. It's like if you have that bad of a shot that sails like 3 fairways away, you shouldn't be able to come back for a par. You know, there should be pine trees or something in your way. So ideally, you know, I don't know, my wife might be watching my budget on. I might be spending. Like, I don't buy anything except stuff for my disc golf course. That's the only thing I buy. No clothes, no nothing, just stuff for the disc golf course. I'm going to plant a whole bunch of pine trees in different places. It's gonna
I'll sponsor a hole. Name a hole after me, and I'll.
Yes, there we go.
How many pairs of socks? How many pairs of socks do you really own? I've never seen you wear any.
Well, I mean, only for wrestling shoes. That's it.
Yeah. Okay.
I did wear shoes yesterday. I have to wear shoes on my course if I go on the back hill because those buckthorn's a Wisconsin thing. When you chop it and there's those little stumps, if you hit your feet on those, they freaking hurt so bad. So I did play 11 holes on Monday night without shoes, but I was shooed most of the tournament.
All right. Well, then before we go any further and we start to wrap it up, you had a tremendous support staff out there, your wife included. Let's hear some accolades and some shout outs for the staff and everyone that helped make things happen.
Yeah. Well, so we had great catering. We had great catering from Funky Fresh Spring Rolls the one day, and then my buddy Mike and his crew brought some great barbecue the next day. My wife was helping out a lot. My assistant Rachel she was just tremendous. She killed it. My dad came and helped drive the transport van to and from the hotel because we don't have a lot of parking. So we just had a lot of awesome people. DGPT did a great job out here. We had that. It was great. Our kitchen table is set up as the like HQ for the media center. So yeah, it was awesome. Thank you to everyone that helped. And Paul's got his trophy here.
I got the golden sandal. One of 2.
Beautiful.
Yes. And for those of you that did see on social media, there was a belt that was created that I got to lift it. It was pretty hefty. But Ben, am I correct in saying you were not willing to part with the actual belt?
They got it for the day. We're gonna make a real. Next year, there's gonna be a real one. I'll get to take home.
Okay. See, it seems quite fitting and very appropriate out there. It was incredible. Everything was the cookout and the kind of the welcoming on Monday night as we saw people get in holes. That's where I think you and I, Ben, both saw Casey play, and I was like, damn, this guy is way better than I think anyone else maybe realized. He's got such great form. It was awesome watching him out there, and then. Beautiful weather. Thankfully, it was today, or it was yesterday instead of today in Wisconsin because it rained and stormed on us. But all around, just an incredible outing. So, Paul, when's it going to be at your house, though? I mean, when's Ben and the rest of us all going to come over to your house?
That's definitely a possibility. I just don't have pads yet. You know, so that's
You just broke Ben's heart.
That's the thing.
No, we
In addition,
summer here.
yeah,
I get summer.
Yeah. So we'll see how the pads come. But I wanted to ask you, you know, being the celebrity, how was it on your how was it? I don't know if you talked about it in the show already or not, but how was the experience compared to other events you've played?
No, honestly, I think I said it when we got quickly interviewed before we went out for the second round. Just genuinely having any part in any capacity, I can't thank you guys, Ben. You know, from the bottom of my heart, thank you. It was just such an honor, and it was so fun. Everything you said about all the celebrities enjoying themselves. Of course, I'm a guy in disc golf. I'm not a real celebrity, but it was just the interaction and the growth and the excitement that we all shared, and all these professionals in from all these different industries to come together and to have the day or the day and a half, and then into the late night hours. Some of you guys were sleeping into the late night hours last night as the party continued. It was definitely a career highlight day for me, and I'm not going to blame Eagle for our overall play, but it was seriously, it was a career highlight. It was a day I'll never forget, and I really mean that, Ben. So thank you, Paul. I know you and Ben had conversations. I know a lot of people were like, all these real celebrities, and then what's Terry doing there? But it was an honor to be part of it. My real plan was I didn't want to play too well and be considered a pro. I didn't want to play too well, hoping I wouldn't get myself kicked out of it. So maybe I could still be a celebrity some other time. I don't know. But thank you guys.
Let's All-Star break next year so Dylan can come back.
No, Dylan's
Well,
going to be in the
hopefully I'm
All-Star
not.
game.
Hopefully I'm not.
Ouch! That's a backhanded compliment.
More. All-Star game.
Well, he'll have options. Let's put it that way. If he has to decline the All-Star game to be with the
Maybe I'll start the last game before there, so I can't pitch in it, and I'll just be like, "Hey guys,
There you go.
I gotta go represent."
And they only make you pitch like one inning at the All-Star game these days, so you can just get on the road real quick.
all right. Well, guys, if you got anything else to say, please share it. I want to just quickly say thank you again. Thanks for joining us tonight. I think the whole world is going to really appreciate it. I'm going to say one more time, though, it is not a public course. Do not try and find Ben's house or show up at Ben's uninvited at any time during the year. That's a question I keep getting hounded, and I'm trying to look out for you. That it just people need to know that just because there's baskets doesn't mean you can go play them.
That killer dog right there on the couch.
Yes.
We'll just,
All right. Anything else to say, gentlemen?
Yeah, appreciate you having us on, and hopefully we'll see you next year.
All right. Hope so too. All right, guys. It was a pleasure. Thank you guys for joining us.
Have a good night, guys.
Travel safely.
Yep.
All right. Pretty cool to have those guys all jump on with us. Thank you. I had communicated back and forth a little bit with Hannah, and she helped get things organized. And I think they had gone out to dinner and some other stuff tonight, but really cool. I actually had the pleasure, too, of meeting up with Simon this morning. He had needed some footage that we shot on Monday. I can't spoil it all, but on Monday, him and Eagle arrived. They both came from Boston and Denver. They arrived. We went out to a local course. They wanted to shoot some vlog material. I went with them and was a little bit of their tour guide, had a lot of fun with them. And then we went right from there, literally sped into downtown Milwaukee, where, as I had mentioned earlier, we had a meet and greet, which was only started getting planned on Saturday night when Simon reached out to me. We had a meet and greet at Explorium Brew Pub. Wow.
Explorium Brew Pub.
I was there too much, it sounds like. Over at Explorium. And it was incredible. The turnout in Wisconsin, downtown Milwaukee. I think there was some people, there's a woman here from Grand Rapids who was maybe already kind of here, but she was here from Michigan. People came from Illinois, Madison, all over the place.
I estimated in the 2 hours you were there, at minimum 300 people, probably maybe closer to 400. And Simon and Eagle, again, didn't charge anything, just showed up. You had some discs for sale if people needed them so they could get them signed. They just sat there and they signed virtually everything. At one point, we were running out of time because you guys had to go to the All-Star I keep calling it All-Star, the Pro-Am dinner, and we had to limit it to one item. Like I felt like the bad guy walking up and down the aisle being, all right, guys, one item now. And you see these people with stacks. Like they had to pick which disc they wanted. And it was a loose one item because they'd come up and they'd hand one item to each of them. Yeah. They'd sign and then they'd slide.
Tricky.
They would get a little tricky.
This one's for my son. Or this one's for my daughter.
My buddy who couldn't
make it.
This is
for my dog.
So, but overall, it was a huge success, and it seems like everybody there really appreciated what was able to be thrown together.
Yeah, and I have to big shout out to Simon. I'm sure him and Eagle had the conversation at one point, and obviously about the idea. And then Simon reached out to me, and we very quickly were able to get it scheduled and arranged. And so, huge shout out to Mike Doble and his crew over at Explorium. And it was put together in under 48 hours, and just super happy that we could do that. And then they had such an incredible turnout of these fans and supporters. It was awesome, and huge shout out, Johnny, big help, but also then Brett Comincioli and Tom McManus. Jeff Showers assisted, as did Dylan Fassy. But
well, it worked out that it was like a half a mile from my 9 to 5, so I could I jumped on a little Lime scooter, buzzed over there, and it was perfect.
Yeah, so thank you to everybody. That's all I can say. It was a lot of fun, and yes, I've got some other ideas with regards to some meet and greets and some other ideas actually that span back more than 10 years, where I had jotted down some concepts and ideas, and I think we're getting to a point where some of those are becoming more practical and possible to actually carry out.
And I want to say, everybody that got in line got something signed. We did not have to, we were going to cut it off. I walked up to these guys at like little after 5, and I was like, all right, you guys are the last guys.
Mm-hmm.
And then 4 more people walked up, and I'm like, I can't, how do I,
Yeah, that's the toughest part is like, how do you
stop? Because it says until 5:30, but that's when it's supposed to end. So ultimately, people realized it was ending at 5:30 and didn't, more people didn't show up, and we were able to really pound through that. One of the very last people was a cop. Just walked in, and he's like, "Oh, I just saw you guys were doing this, and thought I'd come over." And it was after we were cleaning up, and he was able to get something signed.
And for the record, I mean, I'm just throwing it out there. I ultimately handed him a disc that he got signed, and I didn't even charge him for it. I said, "Hey, just next time,
get in line, buddy. No.
You turn on those lights behind me. Just
you didn't
remember."
You didn't ask him for the secret pass, like the get out of jail free card that he can give out. So any cop will
recognize, like, you talked to Joe. Here's your.
He would not put Simon in handcuffs. I asked him to because I wanted to send a picture to UC. That was not happening, unfortunately.
That would have been good. Johnny, I'm going to send you something because we should show the world.
Yep, I'm waiting for it.
There were some crazy things happening. We saw a bag signed, of course, disc, pictures, some body parts more than others. One of the craziest moments, this comes in from Josh Williams, and I believe him and his wife. I guess I should triple check that. He was super happy that they came out. Him and his wife came to the event, stood in line along with everybody else, got some autographs, and they also got autographs on their arms. And from Explorium, they went straight to the tattoo parlor and got permanent autographs on their arms.
But that's their throwing arms, right? I would have to assume.
Of course.
I mean,
that's
how you increase your distance.
Yes, guys, you've heard of internet distance. This is what we call tattoo distance. All right. All you have to do is get the 2 of the longest throwers in all of disc golf to sign your forearm, and there you go. So Simon Lizotte and Eagle McMahon are permanently tattooed on Josh Williams, and along with his wife. I'm sorry, her name is not handy in front of me at the moment, but yes, incredible. Incredible. And they were both taken back by it a little bit that it had gone down.
Well, and I was talking to Simon right after but I was talking to Simon right after the signatures, and he was like, "Wow, that was intense." And I was like, "Really?" I mean, because to me, I think like there's got these things are probably relatively frequent. I would think you show up to a place and you know people come and you get signatures. And he was like, "No, other than." He says this was probably the biggest signing he's ever had, other than sitting down in the warehouse and having to sign like 1,000 discs or thousands of discs. Because I had thought that they had done some big signings over in Europe, and apparently this was, according to Simon, one of the biggest, if not the biggest, that he's ever gone through. So that says something, about our disc golf community in the Midwest and Milwaukee specifically, but about the growth of the sport as well, I think.
Turned up for what? Like, Ashley Williams is the other name. So Josh and Ashley Williams, full shout out. I know everyone has a little bit of mixed reaction as to what you think of it. It's not what I would do. I really, really like Eagle and Simon. But
clearly you don't. I mean, this proves.
Yeah, I think the newest Disc Golfer magazine actually has quite a spread of showing disc golf tattoos, and I think that's great. I know one of my favorite tattoos in the world is, in fact, on Batman. Yeah. He's got our SmashBoxxTV logo.
It's the best
tattoo
in the sport.
That's on his calf. That's not quite on his throwing arm, but yeah, pretty incredible. And not to take away anything from Eagle or Simon, but they did message me, and they shared the photos and the experience. They said as the Celebrity Pro-Am was going on, they sent me another message, I believe, and that's where they said, if there's any other top pros that want to sign our arms, we'll get those we'll get those tattooed as well.
Here's what I'll say. Again, you and I, neither of us have any tattoos.
That you know of. Or that you've seen.
I checked. It was awkward, but
weird.
I know. But if you're gonna get like Eagle and Simon, then yeah, just make a collection. Go for all your, like, you want to get a Paul, you want to get, Nico, you want to get Philo. I mean, get the disc golf guy on your arm. Are you offended they didn't ask you? I mean,
yeah, damn. No, take back everything nice we just said about
maybe they're saving that for like the Thug Life spot on the yes, right on the
no
abs.
regrets.
Or the Terry Tramp stamp.
yes, that's right where the disc golf guy logo should be. Along with one of my taglines, like "You gotta want it" or "Simmer down" or something. I don't know.
Something about trees.
That too. And also some other notes. People were saying just how nice and kind and just they were so gracious with their time, Simon and Eagle, throughout. Eagle, I also got a note. He said that Eagle was actually, in fact, super nervous because he wanted to make sure that it looked as good as possible before they went and got it permanently done. And that does... Yeah, there's a little added pressure. No, if you're just signing something, especially a body part, you're like,
and they
okay,
knew
cool,
ahead of
it's gonna
time
wash
like
off.
that was going to happen.
I think they had told them that was the plan, but then again, do you take someone serious when they say that? Like, oh, dude, sign my arm. I'm gonna go get a tattoo of it. I'm gonna get it tattooed right now.
I mean,
I'd be like, yeah, sure you are.
I guess it depends how they say it. I mean, if they say it like that, I'm probably not taking it seriously.
Well,
what happens when Simon or Eagle win a world championship? Do they have to update the tattoo, like put a little 1X or something?
Yeah,
I don't know. I guess we'll find out. Let's hope to find out next year.
Exactly. So we've totally glossed over in a semi-serious, joking way. Paul McBeth, of course, winning the Des Moines Challenge.
Whoopity-doo.
I mean...
It's like his eighth or ninth straight victory after the Worlds. So every year Worlds comes, maybe he wins it, maybe he takes second place. We know that's happening. And then the next week he's going to win. This is not news. This is like, at this point, it's just a fact.
Everyone else should just take off that weekend when it's the weekend after.
It sounds like they do.
Well, I'm just saying, because they're like, well, Paul's got this one. Let's go play somewhere else. Maybe, I don't know. They want to.
Just they avoid, they watch Paul's schedule at the beginning of the year, and everyone avoids it. Like, that's weird. No one's coming to Des Moines this year.
Exactly.
But you're playing a C tier like 100 miles away? Like, I don't know. I want a chance to win.
The week after Worlds, yeah. We know that Paul's got it wrapped up. But, of course, congratulations. It was a good battle. Exciting. the weather created a whole new set of challenges for literally everybody. We can't say it enough. Thank you to Seth Muncie, working with the Disc Golf Pro Tour, him along with then everyone else on the Pro Tour, and then the local organizing committee and staff, and Ty Tanat, and just all of the crew and the club. And it was fun to be back at Pickard. That was the first time I have visited Pickard since the 2004 Worlds, when I had played there. Of course, some holes very recognizable, other holes that they'd either changed or altered, not so much. But just a phenomenal piece of property, and it definitely was a venue that hosted a good show for all of us. So congratulations to Paul. Solid battle, as we would expect. So. All right, Johnny. I think that's good for the regular show. If you're good,
I'm good.
I think we should chop out both of those interviews, and we'll put them up. Maybe could put them up separately later too.
Yeah, can probably do that.
So awesome to have such star power tonight. Missy Gannon leading things off, and then to have Dylan, Ben, and Paul all jump in.
Just volunteer me to do more work. That's fine, because I know you're not doing it.
It's not that hard. And a guest appearance by Harrison. Harrison was a bad boy.
Funny thing. And I witnessed this.
Okay.
Harrison, he's afraid of feathers.
So that seems like a. Do you blame Hannah for that or Paul?
I don't know, but I watched it multiple times. So Paul picked up a feather and just put it in front of Harrison, and he cowered away. But yet he was not very happy with the chickens.
Correct. Yes.
So I don't know.
Well, and. We'll touch on it more in the after show, but continue to vote. PDGA Board of Directors, I think it's still only up to 12%. Last week it was at 7%. I'll give you all the details in the after show. We can expand on it a little bit more, but yes, another PSA to get out and vote. You've got just about 2 more weeks here to get all of those votes in. That's depending on what state you're in. You've got the state coordinator role to vote for. Potentially, and then you also have, of course, the 3 spots on the board of directors, and we'll get into a little bit of that and some other stuff in the after show, but wanted to get that thrown in there. So we're going to call it for now. We're going to, of course, jump into our after show. It'll be disc golf related. It will be not disc golf related, and some other odds and ends of everything else going on around the world. Did the Bucks? Is it done? Spoiler.
If you don't want to hear, if you're waiting for the post-production on the Bucks game.
On the Bucks game, on the NBA Finals.
It's tied up 2-2.
All right,
Bucks win 109-103.
Okay, so Bucks win here at home in Milwaukee.
Yep,
tonight.
Bucks have won both home games. Suns have won both home games. We are down to a 3-game series, basically. This will be fun.
Okay, so there you go. There's your update. We're going to close things out. This has been podcast 359. Again, huge shout out, Dylan, Ben, Paul, along with our other champion, the FPO champion of the Des Moines Challenge, of course, in Missy Gannon. For Johnny V and myself, Terry Miller, the disc golf guy. We'll see you guys when you join us in the after show, and we'll see you when you step inside the Smashbox.
Thank you to our $2 and above patrons. Your name is listed below in the credits. If you are interested in being listed as a producer in the SmashBoxxTV credits and supporting this and other fine podcasts, please visit patreon.com/SmashBoxxTV.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to SmashBox TV's podcast 359's After
Show.
Getting at it.
That hurts my throat a little bit.
Not going to go there. Folks, we are here for the After Show. Thank you guys for joining us. As always, no rules. Okay, just a few rules in the After Show, but this is our opportunity to talk more about disc golf, maybe a few more of the tangents that have come about. We also certainly invite you guys to join us on either the YouTube or Facebook chat, and we can interact
Answer
with
any
you.
questions.
Yes, interact with you directly there. So ask us some questions, look for clarifications. If you need to do that, please do so, and we'll try and get to you from there. And like I said, this could be about disc golf or just about any other random topic. I was closing out the regular show just touching on how the PDGA had discussed that there are up to now 12% voting votes have come in, and they've got more specific statistics. They were sent to me earlier today. I think they were also posted to Facebook. 89,982 people were sent ballots or were eligible to vote. Maybe is a better way to word that. One of the two. Or those are one and the same. Maybe they were sent ballots, and I believe I said there was just a 12.77 of the total ballots have been returned. 2020 was the record at a 22.82% return rate or vote rate. But right now we're just at 12.7.
I'm fairly certain I voted. I need to double check because I know I got the vote, and I think
if you click on it, it'll
tell me.
Yeah,
I'll have to look at that because
rock the vote, bro.
I had it
MTV style.
I know I had it up and I had it all checked on my computer, and then I was thinking, I don't remember if I hit submit because I was like, oh, I want to check out one or two more things about the candidates, and then I don't remember if I submitted or if I closed the browser because I was doing it at work. I was listening to the podcasts while I was working, so interesting, but.
You want any, mini, miny, or mo?
I believe it was Goofy.
Okay. They're all goofy.
I know they are. If they want to be part of the PDGA, you got to be a little goofy or funky or whatever other nicknames we're going to give people. One of the things I really loved about last night after the Pro-Am, we were all at a restaurant, kind of a little outdoor area, having some food, was listening to our pros and the celebrities who are, pros in whatever they're doing, whether it's acting or MMA or sports, hockey, baseball, whatever, exchange things like social media tips, a lot of fitness talk.
Shoot, I missed that.
I
Why didn't you call me over?
Dude,
you didn't think I needed any. Okay.
Yeah, I know.
Compliment taken.
I know. That's, I'm stealing all that info. But like listening to Dylan talk about his routine. Because he, as he says, I pitch once every 5 days. So him going through I lift weights on this day and I work on core this day and I just do warm-ups this day, and talking to some of our pros about fitness regimens, listening to Julian talk about how he's, quote, I'm going to throw it in quotes, out of shape right now because he's 20 pounds overweight, just like me.
Mm-hmm. Me too.
And, but
for each of the 7 days of the week.
I'm not that bad. But that he, because I asked him, I said, "Oh, when's your next fight?" Because to be honest, I'd seen him, but I had no clue anything about him. And he said, I think his next fight is in November or something along those lines. So
sure.
But right now he is out of shape, being 20 pounds overweight, and he'll cut that as things get closer, because he was eating some of the desserts, and he was kind of joking about how he can do it now because he's not trying to get into fighting shape. So, but just listening to a lot of the people, a lot of them interact with each other. It was a very nice and relaxing and pleasant evening and conversation with everybody. So it was pretty cool.
Yeah, it was so much fun. If I'm correct, I believe the only person that wasn't able to stick around for the kind of the after party and dinner and drinks was Andrew. He said I had asked him if he was going to be over there, and he was getting on a plane to go to New York. I'm guessing he had something going on. One of the other funny notes when I had asked, I said something to Julian about either playing tournaments or things that were upcoming in his schedule. And I believe he had told me, I think it's this weekend, he's playing in a pickleball tournament. He's from the Kansas City area, and I believe he said he was playing in a pickleball tournament coming up. So clearly loving multiple sports. And
I wouldn't want to, like, if you don't know, like, you're just like, oh, who am I playing against? Oh, this Julian Marquez. Okay, walking up and seeing that dude on the other side of a pickle court, like, I'm like, you really do you have to like work out to play pickleball, like that? And because that dude's big,
yeah,
like solid,
yeah. So, multi-sport athlete out there getting it done.
I mean, he's got the trifecta: MMA, pickleball, and disc golf.
Yeah.
What more do you need?
I don't know. Everything else, you're just wasting time pretty much. I had the distinct pleasure and honor during the first round. It's not too often that I'll actually get the opportunity in a semi-serious or semi-competitive, at least, situation to play with our current world champion in James Conrad. Mm-hmm. That was a lot of fun, playing with him, of course. And then
I swiped his disc, which was great.
Yeah, that's where I was going to also go is just before, if you saw in one of my Instagram feeds, I did a lot of mostly stories over the last few days, but if you looked at it, he had actually it was Kelvin Heimberg potentially trying to auction off the disc that he had put in on hole number 18. And in a semi-serious conversation, it was asked, hey, would you take $5,000 for this disc?
I think it's worth more than that, but
and James said, probably not. And then Jeff Spring, where we're sitting around waited, said, what about $25K?
Ooh, now you're talking.
He, in a sense, it felt like he was putting in a bid or an offer, but he said $25K, and James nodded and said, yeah, I would definitely think about that. So somewhere between 5 and 25.
James has a number? Everybody has a price?
I think he's got a number. I do, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
Here's what I think. Jeff Spring, this is Play Pretend World, offers him $25,000 for that disc.
Okay.
I think MVP matches that and keeps that disc. Personally, I think it would be, I don't say in their best interest, but it would make more sense for MVP to kind of bounty up and be like, we think maybe that should come our way. Now, I don't know what MVP's number is. If they have like, we'd never go above 25 or 50 or 100. If, somebody at some point, could hit the right number that they would get the disc. But I think for 25, I would think MVP would try to keep that. But I don't know.
I don't know. They're making thousands more right now.
Just rattling them off.
And
every one of those discs, they make James stand in the position and throw it until it goes in.
Exactly.
So all of those discs that you're about to order or receive from whatever dealer, they're all James Conrad throw-ins. They're all holy shots.
Of course. Well, I did see that James arrived in Michigan today. He had must have left this morning because he was at the gathering.
He actually left last night.
Did they?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's why they were at the party, and I was talking to him, and he's like, "Yeah, we're going to get on the road tonight,
and
drive a few hours."
That makes sense. MVP is located over in the Detroit area, so from the Milwaukee area over to there, you're looking at 6.5 hours. You also lose an hour in the time zone change, so them knocking out some or most of it, maybe even last night. But I saw that they arrived at MVP today. They had a ton of the workers and the
big
company outside. Just
party.
Yeah, exactly. And Sarah Holcomb was already there, and so it was really cool to see James and MVP all with that support out there. You can find that on his Instagram, I believe, as well. So pretty incredible to see out there for sure. All right. Galactic Conqueror says, I'm just wondering if Eagle would have done better than -27. That is all. But yeah, he didn't play. Oh, okay. So there, just to bring everyone up to speed, there's a little conversation going on within the chat board, wondering or suggesting or implying if in any way Paul McBeth's victory this last weekend at Des Moines was, I'll just say, less than, because the likes of
sure, yeah,
of Eagle and Simon
Yeah. I'm going to say yes, it is. But here's the other thing I'm going to say about it. Not every player can be at every event. So if Paul wins an event and Ricky's not there, is it less of a victory than if Paul wins and Ricky is there? Sure. Like, that's why Worlds is Worlds, because everybody's there. And you could go through and probably power rank, so to speak, every event based on the number of players. In fact, I think that's what the UDisc ratings does. Like, you get points based on people that you beat. There's a huge formula. It's some sort of like chess formula where they kind of took the idea from. But yeah, I mean, if you really wanted to nitty gritty break it down, you could look at, oh gosh, well, this event didn't have Calvin and Philo, so it's less than the one that didn't have Brody Smith and Kevin Jones. Like, sure, you could do that, but
I don't care.
Exactly. No, I'm with you. It doesn't matter, because you know what? In 3 months, no one's going to look at the field. You're going to look at
who won the event.
Paul McBeth won a DGPT event, and that's it. And nobody cares, because I'll tell you what, I guarantee you could go back through any event and look DGPT event and probably find someone that wasn't there and throw an asterisk by it. But yes, it's not. It's woulda, shoulda, coulda. Would Eagle have won? I don't know. Maybe, but maybe if Eagle's there, Paul plays better because he's more motivated or something dumb. I don't know. But that's great sports radio talk, is what that is. Like, that's where you talk about it. And
I'm over it.
I know you are, but that's what sports radio talk is. You know?
And my one point to it is, all you can do is beat whoever shows up. Mm-hmm. After that, it's out of your hands, and it is what it is. I mean, I understand the logic and the reason of the argument. I'm just saying, all you can do is show up, and who's ever there to beat, if you beat them, then you beat them. Like, that's all there is to it. You can't sit around and, well, it's really a thrower's course, and we know how far Eagle and Simon throw, and they really love putting in high humidity with just the right kind of grass. Like, they really missed out. I mean, how granular do you want to get? It's just they weren't there.
Yeah, that's what it boils down to. But as I said, you could really break down if you wanted to power rank every event, and you could do that. It's not worth your time.
Unless they played 6 holes and all of his competitors were rated 950, I'm not looking at it as any less than. That's where I'll leave it. All right.
So Paul McBeth's win on Tuesday was just as good as his win on Sunday.
Yeah. So certainly a lot of fun. Yesterday. Sorry to go back. Just to also clarify, and I don't know how much it's been out there. I know there's been some confusion, so if there's one thing we do well, it's squash and squelch confusion. It's there's going to be some post-production release. GK Pro is doing post-production, and then Disc Golf Network has will continue to put out snippets and parts and features and interviews and all sorts of things on Disc Golf Network. And I know a lot of people thought, well, hey, if there's one thing that should be on, Disc Golf Network, this is it. And it's like, this was a bonus event that came about that had limited resources in the sense of, of not having testing and all this other stuff. And as you kind of heard from Ben, there's a little almost, I don't want to say exclusivity to it. There's a little bit of that smaller, compact, what's the word I'm looking for?
Intimacy. Yeah.
Intimate situation that it was going for. And I felt like it certainly nailed that. And I think highlights and aces and some funny stuff that'll all get released and be part of it. My one takeaway is, just because something happened or something exists or you can wish it doesn't mean it's always going to come to fruition. I feel like it's the same argument I've made for years when I hear people going onto private properties, whether it's houses or churches or camps, like, well, but they've got 9 holes and I wanted to play it. If you're not allowed on the property for some reason, because it's a camp or it's a church or it's a school, don't go play it. Just because there's baskets in the ground doesn't give you a right to go play them. And I kind of feel sometimes that way about our disc golf coverage. Just because there's pros in an area or an event happening doesn't mean that everyone is automatically granted access. I understand how cool it would be, but my analogy last night I was thinking about was like, okay, well the NBA finals are taking place here in Milwaukee, and I work in media, so can I like go hang out in the locker room? And like, no, just because it's happening doesn't mean like I have access to it, because I think that would be cool. So there's a balance here that we have to continue to work through.
And
because you want it doesn't mean you get it.
Listening to some of the conversations that Ben had listened to as well, I think the event is better off without spectators, this particular style. For a couple of reasons. Like he said, the pros are more at ease. The celebrities are more at ease. No, you don't have to perform. You don't have to be on your best behavior. You don't, you don't have to worry like if, and again, none of this happened. Say one of the, it actually did happen. Say Jordan goes off on an expletive rant talking smack to every one of the players. He doesn't probably have to worry that, that's going to be on social media if it's that bad. There are people who will make sure that things are bleeped out and things like that. Now, again, it was nothing that bad. He was being very funny about it. But, if one of the pros say something that shouldn't ever be caught, you don't have to worry about people hearing it, talking about it, cameras. You don't have to be on, and it's not just about being on your best behavior. It's about being comfortable.
Yeah,
and
letting your guard down.
And being comfortable around these people who, it's easier. Like I said, Dylan was there just getting tips from Eagle and Ricky and some of the best sidearm throwers in our game for like a half hour. I'm not kidding you. I bet you he threw at least 100 forehand shots just from one spot, kept throwing them, go collect the discs, come back, talk to somebody, throw them again, 10, 15 at a time. I wouldn't be shocked if you're in like 2 months, they're still finding some of his discs in the woods because some of those he got a hold of and some of them he threw right into the ground in front of him. But that makes it easier when you're not worried about thinking about, what are the fans watching? Are the fans watching me yank shots into trees as I'm trying to get better?
Their own questions?
Yeah, or are they sitting around asking questions and you don't feel like you need to make your rounds to the fans, because I think you put a couple fans there and the celebrities and the pros maybe feel a little obligated to kind of glad hand a little bit with these people. So for this style of event and what it was, I believe fans not being there is best and having it covered by media. Now, if we do, like they said, another one in the winter where maybe there is fans and it's more of a show as opposed to what this was more of a charity type thing. If they do more of a show, that's a whole different ball game, and you know what you're getting into.
Yeah. It's it was very cool. I love the setup, and again, very flattered and honored to have any tiny part in it, and excited for the stuff to come out. And just for all of those players and people to be able to have the kind of the day to themselves. There was a lot of smiles, a lot of laughs.
So many
stories shared, and just getting to know some of these people. A question was asked as to I think maybe my favorite or any takeaways from celebrity interactions or conversations. I had, I believe, an interaction or a conversation with pretty much every single one of the celebrities. Of course, I've known Ben for many years. Super good guy. He actually lives about 10 minutes from me. No, we don't hang out regularly or anything like that, but I've known him for quite some time. He's played in a tournament I ran 9 years ago where we were on the same card, all that stuff. Super good guy. Casey was, of course, great to talk with, and one of my biggest takeaways, and we kind of discussed it earlier, he's solid. He's a good player.
A flip to flat thrower. Little Heiser stands up perfectly straight, just crushes.
Yeah, he clearly has form and technique, and he's taking it serious, and none of that surprises me. I'm not saying that in any kind of shocked fashion, but he was very, very impressive out there, and I saw that even from the night before. I'm like, oh, this guy definitely is no hack here whatsoever. Wes Finley from Revolution. I played with him during the first round. Super nice guy. He actually was, I think, one of the main connections was through Seth Muncie of Disc Golf Strong. Seth is friends with him, and then that's how that connection got started. Super nice guy. I think he's on the Innova ambassador team or celebrity team.
Fairly certain he is.
Obviously, we talked to Dylan earlier. Rick, I didn't have as much conversation with Rick Glenn.
Of all the all the celebrities that were there, Rick was probably one of the quietest.
Yep.
And maybe I'm sure he had great interactions with other people on the course, and you can probably find it on some of the coverage that's going to come out. I did not get a great chance to talk to him. I think I had maybe 2 sentences with him.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, that's a good way to put it. He was one of the slightly more reserved gentlemen, so I didn't have as much conversation. Andrew is. You just can't say it out. I mean, there's a reason he's had his own shows.
You can't not talk to Andrew because he loved the day. He loved the experience. And his only goal, he said, for the whole day was to get pictures with Paige Pierce and Kat. Because his girlfriend, I believe it was, he said, yeah.
Okay.
Yep, his girlfriend was super interested, and he was calling her on the phone during the round, talking to her and saying, yeah, honey, no, I've had like 2 good throws today. And like guys are teeing off, and it's somewhere all on camera at some point. But yeah, he needed to get pictures with Kat and Paige in order to make somebody at home very happy.
Yeah. So, yeah, he's just incredible to talk to. Super, super nice guy. I mean, I could say this obviously of all of them, but it was. And Julian, he was at DDO during the block party, and he's just a riot. He is certainly one of the most enthusiastic guys that was out there throughout the entire day. Jordan was jacked up, of course, when you're playing with Paul and you're talking trash with Julian. He was hilarious. And then Kevin Alejandro, I chatted with him just a little bit. Super nice guy, of course, as well. I mean, like I said, we could say this about every one of them, and it was just so much fun. Andrew, I'll just say, you feel so much vibe come off of him with his passion and his excitement and his enthusiasm for the game, but just for life. And he's got such an incredible story. So, yeah, it was all a lot of fun. And, yeah. I don't know if there's much more I can say about all that.
No, it was a
huge
good
shout
time.
out to, as Ben had said, to Rachel, and then along with Ben's wife, Amy, and just everybody else there. And then, and like we said, the whole Disc Golf Network staff were, and all of our camera, and Mo came up for the day. So everybody just was running around trying to take it all in and put out the best, experience and vibe that we could.
You want to know something that was reinforced with me?
Sure.
I'm still a piss poor cameraman.
Yeah. Yeah. So you had one job, Johnny.
I had one job.
On the shortest one on the course.
Well,
kind of.
I'm going to take a little bit of credit here.
Okay.
It felt like everywhere I went, something exciting happened.
Okay. So you have top-notch coverage of the best shots. Is that what you're telling us?
Not so much. I walked up on Dylan because basically what I did is I had your camera. I wandered around. And my goal was not film too many shots. I wanted to film more interactions, more people. So I didn't have a lot of shots of people. I wasn't following discs, so to speak. But I walked up on Dylan with the camera down just as he threw in his 120-foot shot. Yep. I was walking up. He grabbed Mo's Sox hat and put it on, and I just had the camera next to me because I was, filming something else. I walked up to him later, just as he crushed a disc, and I was like, "Oh God!" Then I walk up to which hole was it? The island hole.
Is that 10?
10, hole 10, and I see Paul and Kat's card up there, and there's not a cameraman at the catch. So I say, "All right, cool. This is great. That's weird. No one's here because this is the spot you want to be." So I set the camera down right next to the Prius, which is on the island. Part of the island.
Hole. There's a Prius out there, Ben's old Prius.
And I sit there, and the first throw was I forget who.
Was it Jordan?
It was Jordan. It was Jordan.
Yeah.
And he burns one past, I believe, or he shanks it into the woods. And then Paul throws, and I'm watching, and I'm not good at like keeping my eye on the camera. I tend to look up at the disc because this is a hole I shouldn't have to worry, but I'm always afraid I'm getting hit by discs from something because I'm not good at watching the disc in the camera. And I see it. It's going right for that basket. There was no doubt that it was going to smash those chains. And I lean forward, and so suddenly the top of the basket gets cut off. So you see the disc basically hit the chains, but the top of the basket is completely cut off. Like, had I just stayed where it was, it would have been the most perfect shot. I keep the camera running.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone's excited. Yay! I was
jumping
like,
around, trash talking.
Yeah, it was awesome. Like, and then Kat's partner throws.
Which was Casey, or no.
No, it wasn't Casey.
Who did she, sorry, I'm trying to remember who she had. Team Cat 9 Lives.
Yeah, it was Team 9 Lives.
She was with Dylan.
Oh, she was with Dylan, yeah.
Yeah.
And so Dylan throws and hits the tree, and then Kat throws, and we've all seen the video. And then Kat is lining it up. I watch it again, and I think, wow, this is going in again. So what do? Exact same stupid thing. I lean forward, and I didn't know I did this in the first one because it was one take. I leaned forward to watch the disc because I wanted to lean up over the camera and see it. And in the process is when I pushed the camera forward. So it looks identical. The basket comes half into frame. You see it hit. I mean, not that you could see anybody on the tee anyway from the angle I was at. They all reacted. And then I kind of pull it back and I was like, Google, I bet you that's not very good. So I go back and watch it and I'm like, it's not bad, but it's not good.
Yeah, I haven't actually even downloaded the footage myself yet. Yeah. I'm interested to pull it up and watch it on a regular screen.
Which is why I like to stay not behind the camera, but behind the computer because I'm a poor cameraman. So you do have some nice footage of that, or some not so nice footage of it. Yeah.
Do double ace, stack them up.
Double ace, stack them up, all in one continuous shot. I just left it run.
Love it. All right, guys, some questions were coming in talking about where you get your MVP disc. I think they are making them available to retailers, and I don't know if I missed out or not.
Well, I don't.
Because I'm going to be ordering them for sure.
Yeah, so my understanding is they're making as many as the retailers request.
Yeah, so
if you request 100 of them, they'll make 100 for you.
Okay.
If you request 1,000, they'll make 1,000 for you because they say anyone that wants one should be able to get one.
Well, I would certainly like to get my hands on some and make those available. I don't think I've put it in the order though.
Yeah, pre-orders out places now. Out at places now, I think is what Matthew Gilbert means. It's August, September release.
All right. So, yes, I will be getting my hands on some of those as well. All right. Somebody asked, I think, who is the best putting celebrity? And I feel like that would have to be Casey.
Casey is the most consistent.
Yeah.
Yeah. He definitely had the most consistent putt.
Yeah, I would say... Yeah. Well, let me clarify. From what I saw of his form in practice and then in, I think I saw him on the course for one or two putts during the day, I'm going to guess that he probably was the best putting celebrity overall, if I had to guess.
In the first round, I'm looking, and it says he has two 49-foot throw-ins on back-to-back holes.
Okay, so I mean...
Very, very solid. And I know... Julian, I watched him in the second round. He had two big throw-ins as well. The second round.
Yeah.
I was.
Well, from where he started his putt or where he foot faulted his putts to.
Almost every celebrity, not so great on the rules.
No, of course,
a lot of them took the falling putts. I saw a lot of people leaning on trees when they were putting.
Okay.
All
I kept thinking is, when I saw the first falling putt of the day, and I was with Kelvin on my card as well. I'm like, I'm going to take advantage of that. If celebrities
get to fall,
yes, I should be taking advantage of that. Unfortunately, I played by all the actual rules, but
you're no fun.
Clearly, no, it was Ricky who made the joke. He's like, I don't think we're really worried about that. I'm like, I'm not either. But it was humorous to see people the rules got a little bent in a few places, and obviously I couldn't care less, but it was entertaining to be like, oh yeah, things are a little looser.
It's a little bit easier. I did not see any discs getting kicked out of roughs though, which was nice. Anyone kind of pulling it a little
everybody
closer.
Played it where it lies,
which
is
lies.
tough. It can be really tough
at
that
Funky
course.
Farms. It definitely can be.
Yeah. So, longest drive. I mean, like Johnny was talking about Dylan, possibly, or Casey.
I mean, it's definitely one of those two. It could be Dylan. That guy can throw. I mean, he's a pitcher.
Oh yeah.
So that helps. And I didn't get to ask him if he had ever, how he feels about throwing overhand. But I bet you it would be close between him and Casey.
Yeah. I didn't see Casey throw any
distance. No.
Yeah. The problem out at the Funky Farms when it comes to distance is if you're throwing anything max power, it's a tunnel shot and there's a million trees. So it's really hard to judge someone's outright distance potential out there just because there's not a single really like open hole on the entire course. One or two have some openings, but for the most part, there's not a wide open hole at any place on that entire course.
Sam Doyle says, "Did anyone make fun of Julian for his Miley Cyrus call out in his last fight?" No, I didn't actually know about that until today when I was doing some when I started following him on social media. I did a Google search for him to see what social medias he had, and that comes up everywhere that he like asked her to be his Valentine at one point. So kind of funny. But no, I didn't hear anything about that. He was one of the more gregarious and fun guys to talk with and hang out. He has that personality, almost like a WWE pro wrestler. Like he just has that persona. Yeah. He's such a big guy and he's ready to talk, and it's
but yeah, super sweet. And
100%.
Yeah, super kind and gracious, and just one of those amazing personalities. So he was a lot of fun. And again, he's really been, we saw him at the DDO, and I think I've seen him at maybe one other event. He's just fully into it. And of course he lives not too far from there, but I think he's fully into it. And I think hopefully we'll see him out there some more. Somebody asked, celeb most likely to pull out a 6-pack on hole 1.
Terry Miller.
No, I don't think so.
Probably Jordan. If I had to pick one, it's probably Jordan, the reality TV kind of celebrity guy. Yeah. So
he was jacked up on life as well and just enjoying it.
He has some stories. I sat and listened to him at dinner a little bit when I was over by kind of chatting with Hannah about some media stuff, and he was talking and just about a lot of the reality TV stuff he's done, and he's a couple triathlons he's run and things like he's a character, that's for sure.
Yeah. And he plays occasionally out at Silmar, he was talking about.
Okay.
The Legacy neck of the woods over there in California, and he's talked about a few of the courses that he's played out there. So hopefully we'll see him out playing a little bit more. Everything in terms of during the play was pretty straightforward. It was great that we had the lunch provided, and then there was the ace throw off, which James Conrad. We could describe it. I don't even want to almost do that again. I want you guys to wait and see. Shorter hole, under 200 feet, but just the way in which it found itself into the basket was incredible. It's something you could never draw up and be like, oh yeah, or it's something you could never duplicate.
Never.
The way that it went in, you could never duplicate it in a million tries. So that'll be exciting when that footage actually releases as well in a couple days. But
I'm assuming there'll be an MVP disc about it, just like the shot.
There has to be.
And when it's your year, man.
Of course.
This is everything's coming up, Conrad.
Everything JC. And then there was we got done about 4:00. Everyone was able to relax for a little bit, and then they graciously hosted us over at the little bar and restaurant in Delafield, Wisconsin, and it was
the Belfray.
Yes, it was very cool. So Geez, I feel like there was something else I had on my list to discuss tonight, but I feel like we might have covered everything,
Yeah.
Johnny.
If you're, if you're listening live, great. If not, this will come out on Friday probably. The season finale of Loki was released today. I got a chance to watch it. Don't tell my wife, because I usually watch it with my wife and kid, but I was not going to wait. I'll watch it again and pretend like I didn't. It was awesome. It was a good show. So the whole series. The other thing I started watching was it's a sketch comedy thing on Netflix. I wish you weren't here or something like that. Yeah, I think you'd get a kick out of it. It's all comedy. So yeah, it's something along those lines. But
yeah, I wish you weren't here.
Yeah, it's that's not the name of it. It's something very close to that. I wish you weren't here. But yeah, it's overall good stuff.
Okay. Question or comment that had come in, and you probably didn't watch it or have anything to do with it. Conor McGregor MMA fight this weekend. With Dustin Diamond, I think his name is.
It's not Dustin Diamond.
I'm kidding.
That guy's dead.
Rest in peace, Screech.
I think you should leave is the name of it.
Yeah, I thought that was interesting. Again, I'm a full disclosure, I'm a fringe MMA guy and have seen, as Ben talked about in the regular show, Conor McGregor is just one of those guys that brings all the name or brings so much more eyeballs to MMA. And so I've always found a little bit of interest in what's going on with him. Maybe he's just such a cocky trash talker, and there's so many stories obviously that go around him. It was interesting to see how it went down with the broken ankle, and
couldn't happen to a nicer guy.
Yeah, I was just gonna say there's a lot of classless things that I think then followed with it, and I feel like sometimes you've actually seen him lose graciously and be semi-gracious. Clearly, this was not one of those situations. Yeah, certainly not good. Any other tournaments last weekend? PCS Sula Open did take place. It, of course, was not on the Disc Golf Pro Tour. They certainly wanted to be. Sula, I want to quickly see if I can find... I was about to announce I know who didn't win, unfortunately. Was the only thing that I could think of.
I know a lot of people that didn't win.
Exactly.
I didn't win.
Oh, gosh. Am I going to really set myself up for that?
You already did.
Dang it.
You already did.
Honestly, it's not even so much the pronunciation as much just being able to read the actual letters. Is that Blair?
That's close to it, like a
Blair Orn. I apologize. Wow, I don't even want to try that.
Blair Orn Asgardian.
No, I don't see any D's.
Asgardian is that's where Thor is from.
Asgarson. Peter Lunde taking second. Senalius Amen. Knut is a name. Knut, sorry, is a name that we recognize because he's been here in the States. Morton Brenna.
You're doing great.
Morton Brenna.
Keep it up.
I know Orvin James. I know that one. Stale. I know Stale because I've met him before. Tom Eric Christensen.
Quit while you're ahead.
We're gonna go for ninth. Marcus Fordoff.
Terry, how did the FPO do?
They did really well.
I can't see from here. Do you think can you rattle that off for me real quick?
Anakin Steen, congratulations, she's your champion. And Likke Laurenson. Yeah. Good job. There's your first and second.
You give me a
place.
hard time when I mess up names, so this is perfect. This is perfect.
But seriously, of course, I know they were devastated and frustrated that the Disc Golf Pro Tour couldn't be there as planned this year, but hopefully that all becomes a possibility for next year. So congratulations to all of those top finishers. Was there any other I'm sure there were other events that were taking place. I know some, right here in Wisconsin, the Silver Cup. I'm not even going to talk about it simply because we do have post-production footage that's being put together as we speak. So congratulations to the top performers there. I'll have some post-production of that, some bonus post-production coming at you for that one. We have a giveaway. Should we do a giveaway, Johnny?
Oh gosh, we should. Yeah, fill just a few seconds, and I'll get this giveaway ready.
Okay. Looking again at the voter registration, please go PDGA.com and, well, actually, you should have had a ballot sent to you is what I really should say, and make sure you get out there and vote. I'm going to scroll down and see. Oh, the other news and announcements. Two Hot Geese. They've got a camera and a couple microphones, which is even scarier. I may have teamed up with them in a little bit more of a partnership, them and Skybreed Dis. We're going to see some more action out of the Two Hot Geese team. They want to do more course previews and probably some other fun stuff. I was sent or alerted of a promo video that, in fact, was put out today. They have merchandise that's dropped. Please go out and find them, and let's support them, and hopefully we're going to get to see a lot more of the Two Hot Geese team doing some course previews before big events. That should be pretty fun as well.
Yeah, they're all right.
Yeah, they're not too bad.
When Madison's not complaining about finding internet.
Jeez, I know. Yeah, like disc golf media problems, bro, from 10 years ago. And still going, by the way.
Yeah, and today.
Ray asks, where has Ellen Widboom been this year? I think she won Idlewild last year. She's still touring to defend her title. She's all over the place. She just very much intentionally will go off the beaten path and not necessarily just follow the biggest events. She'll go to big events. She'll go to smaller events. She'll go to unique places and take things in. She's a little bit of everywhere, which I think is awesome. And she just, I just feel like, yeah, she goes off the beaten path every once in a while. And if I'm pulling up her statistics with her 79 wins, I want to take a quick look at player stats. Here we go. If I could be assured of something.
Yeah, she plays almost every weekend.
Yeah, she played here in Wisconsin. She played in Minnesota 2 weeks ago for the Majestic, and then this weekend in a somewhat small field at the Silver Cup on the FPO side. I'll spoil that. Ellen Widboom's your champion. So Ellen Widboom, Lindsay Fish, and Jessica Smith were in the field, so Ellen took it down. Lindsay Fish originally being from the Manitowoc, Two Rivers area. Some have seen her in Florida. She's been out on the tour a little bit here and there. But she was here competing locally this last weekend. All right.
You know what Ellen Widboom always tells me?
That she's really thankful for all her Patreon subscribers, and she thinks we should have more.
That is exactly word for word what she tells me. She says, John, if more people went to patreon.com/SmashBoxxTV, the world would be a better place.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want to make Ellen Widboom proud, you can go to patreon.com/SmashBoxxTV and support our podcast, support us being able to do things like go to Funky Farms and record for the day, get all of our winners on every week. We had, Paul won twice in the last 3 days, and we had him on. We had, Missy on. Winners, this is where winners show up. We know this. Winners come here. Despite us. But seeing as how you couldn't bring home the win, we had to bring in the winner. So
again, I had to sandbag. I didn't want anybody to be like, oh, he should have been in the pro division.
Everybody would have thought that.
Yeah, and I just wanted to, keep it on the down low.
To be fair, the 3 shots I think I actually watched you throw off the tee, you threw pretty well. So. And I didn't watch too much more than that. So anyway,
I'll just spoil it quickly for you guys and say I did not play 10-10 rated golf or 10-50 or maybe even 995 rated golf. However, I'd go as far as saying I was far from embarrassing, and believe it or not,
nobody.
The one thing I wanted to do, it was not embarrass myself. Now, of course, I threw a couple of bad shots. And I threw a couple of really good shots, but I absolutely didn't embarrass myself. And as silly as this sounds, I was mildly concerned about that. I'm normally not filmed. Nobody would ever watch. If the few times I do play golf, nobody would ever watch it. or be
they'll
concerned
watch
about
it
it.
now.
Well, yeah,
They'll be forced to.
But I
That'd
did.
be awesome if GK Pro cut you out.
At one point, I'm no joke. At one point, I went up to Blaine and I said, "Hey, I know how this goes. If you wanted to move off of my card and go to another card at some point, I'm not going to be mad or offended by that because we weren't getting it done out there entirely." So, yeah, I know how that goes, and he was very kind and gracious. And
I think because they already had cameras on other cards, they didn't need to move off of you. Again, patreon.com/SmashBoxxTV. We have 199 people tonight eligible for our giveaway. We're going to give away a disc. I don't know what we're going to give away. Terry, something?
I've got some stuff for you.
Terry,
ooh, there's some new.
I saw a box
some,
of tilts.
Yes, nobody's getting one of those.
that was the joke I kept in the line for the Eagle and Simon thing. I had a bin full of your discs, and it was like there were some instincts in there, some
enigmas, tactics, links.
Not method. It was method. Is that
method?
Method. So I would bring it around.
Math.
Yeah, I was selling methods, and people would be like, "Oh, did you get any of the P2s in there? The new P2s?" And I'm looking at it, I'm like, "No." And the next guy's like, "I'm looking for a cloud breaker." I'm like,
yeah, a whole box of them.
Sure. Another guy
I'm looking for all 3 years of the Night Strikes.
Another guy's like, "Yeah, does Terry
$9?
Like, does Terry have any tilts in here?" I'm like, "No, you people. Like, what do you expect? You think I'm just gonna get premium?" And to be fair, I understand some people don't maybe follow it as closely, but it got to the point where whenever someone would ask me, I'd be like, "Yeah, it's in my other box with the tilts and the P2s and the it was relatively funny." So you're not going to give away a tilt tonight, but
I'm not.
You will find something that we can give away. It'll be fantastic.
I will. I'll give away something.
Terry, what number should we draw? We have 199.
Wow. I think about the Des Moines Challenge and some of the fun out there, but then I also think about the Funky Farms. I don't know. Funky Farms, B, C, D, E, F. I don't know. The F word, 6 letters.
6?
Go with 6.
We're going to go with 6.
Not 6 letters. The 6th letter of the alphabet.
6th letter of the alphabet.
Okay. Yeah. We're going to go with the 6th letter because that's F.
All right. Terry had to finger that out. Here.
I really usually do.
All right. Third number is 3.
Ooh.
Our 5th number is 55. And now our 6th number.
How'd you sort them?
By email address.
Oh, it's
13.
funky.
13. Lucky number 13. Let me bring up my spreadsheet. Where did I put it? Oh, it's right here. Good. Scroll up to the top.
Number 13.
And the email address starts with B. Barney Davis.
Love it.
Congratulations, Barney Davis.
Okay, Barney. I'm going to find something. I'm starting to get a little bit more inventory.
Yeah, a lot of people are.
In that I recently got I think a little bit of a restock on some MVP stuff. Some Discraft stuff recently showed up. Some Sexton Firebirds might have showed up. That's another story.
Yeah, I almost put
that.
I almost put that bin in my car, that box in my car when we walked it to after the Pro-Am. Everybody kind of went to clean up because it was kind of hot and sweaty, and I went over to your place, and you had two.
This isn't getting better.
You had 2 boxes in your porch area, and one of them you were like, "Oh yeah, that's the Sexton Firebirds." It's like, "Oh geez."
It was a really small box. There's like 3 in there, so that's all I was getting, and it worked out well. Okay. So yes, we've got the giveaway. I'll find something for you guys, and I'll get that sent out to you. Was that Barney?
Barney Davis.
All right, Barney. We'll find something. We got to double check your address. Please make sure you get back to us ASAP.
We do have his address, which is good, but
assuming it's updated.
Pretty sure it's updated.
All right, guys. I think we are about to call it here. I'm reading anything else? Nope. Sorry, Ray, not you. Also. Not Federico.
Yeah, not Federico Sorensen. I do have, actually.
Uh-oh. Come on.
We have a few more of the codes for our putting.
Oh.
For our PPDG. The pro putting. So if anyone is interested, we could do a quick giveaway tonight, or if we just want to do a flat giveaway. I think I've got like 3 Apple codes and 3 Android codes left. So
Wow. If somebody needs a code, reach out.
Yeah, if you want a code, I want to give one away. So if you're interested, hold on, I'm gonna bring up our handy dandy Nightbot.
Oh, geez.
Yeah.
Now it's going to get really...
Who does the giveaways.
And you guys used to hate the Nightbot.
Yeah, Nightbot actually does giveaways. So we're going to do by keyword. So I'm trying to think. What's a... this one's an easy one tonight. If you are looking for... If you're looking for one of these codes, I'll give away 2 codes tonight. It's the word funky.
Okay.
Well, I had to think of a word that other people aren't typing. So the word funky. Type the word funky, and you'll be eligible to enter. In about 2 minutes, we'll draw a random 2 people that'll get the code for the app that we're going to be giving away tonight. So it's the word
Ray wants in on that.
funky.
Action.
I know Ray wants. He reached out to me privately, and I was like, "Ooh, sorry, Ray.
Yeesh.
That's not how it works." Gosh, no, I won't take your $100. I have morals.
I will, though. My morals can be bought.
So, yep, the word's funky, obviously, for Ben Askren. For those of you that don't know, his nickname for MMA was Funky Ben Askren. I think maybe it's been even since college with the hair and whatnot, maybe even since high school, but Funky Ben Askren, which is why Funky Farms got the name, because that's where he lives. Simon was envious. He sat there and after the round and pulled out his phone and started doing Zillow, and he was like, this is exactly the kind of thing I want. He's like, and I don't know if he's ready for it yet. He seems so he just bought a house.
Yeah.
But he's like, this is the type, like a 10 to 15 acres where I can put, course like this out on it. So Simon was very envious, as I think a lot of people will be.
Yeah. Well,
So.
and to be fair, I think Simon shopping for land and property of the style in which Ben has, I think he'd find at a quite a steal compared to what he'd find over on the East Coast.
Yeah,
as well.
Yeah, there
might be a little sticker shock in a good way.
Yeah, there was some suggestions as far as where he could look. He was like upwards of Maine, Connecticut, excuse me, some a little bit more northern.
Come to Wisconsin.
Or you can come to the Midwest and probably get that type of land a little bit cheaper. Not right now. It's still pretty cheap. It's still pretty expensive. But okay, so we're gonna draw our name here. We're gonna have Nightbot, our favorite bot that we have. Roll it, and the winner is
gosh, the anticipation.
Mr. Tight Films. Mr. Tight Films, you won yourself a code for tonight. Reach out to me on either Facebook, or you can send me an email, or if you're in our Discord, that's great too. John at SmashBoxxTV, and I will get you one of the codes. We're going to do one more, and I'm doing 2 because then I know I'm not going to run out of any codes because I have 3 of each. So the next winner is Mike Reynolds. So congratulations, Mike Reynolds. You won as well. You can reach out to me the same way, John, Jon, at SmashBoxxTV. I will get you each a code, and we'll see if we have any codes left for next week. We'll give some away next week as well.
Dang.
Sorry, Ray. I know Nightbot hates you.
Ouch. That hurts. Damn you, Nightbot.
So those are the guys. Reach out to me again on any method you can. Email, Facebook, social media, Instagram, which I don't ever have. I have an Instagram thing, but I don't know if I've ever posted to it. Tinder, Snapchat,
Grinder,
Plenty of Fish, Farmers Only,
IT managers only.
IT managers only.
All right, guys, we're gonna call it. Thank you guys so much for joining us. It's been a whirlwind. It's been a hectic week and a few days and then some, but yet so much fun.
Thanks for letting us delay the podcast tonight.
Yeah, certainly. And sorry to anyone that showed up last night. Let's just put it this way. We had a beverage on your behalf, and we celebrated
How many people are in the chat? We might have had that many beverages last night.
No. It was we were all good.
Yeah.
But it was a lot of fun, and
I didn't get to bed any earlier. I'll tell you that.
Our celebrities were amazing. All of our pros were amazing. Ben and his wife Amy were amazing as hosts, and just such an incredible experience. And hopefully this is just the starting point for all of us to see where some of these other really fun and cool exhibitions that help grow the game, but also provide this really fun, intimate experience for those that are there. It's incredible. And last but not least, thanks to anyone that came and visited Simon and Eagle at the signing over at the Explorium. Everybody enjoyed that as well. So for Johnny V and myself, Terry Miller, the disc golf guy, this has been Smashbox TV's episode 359's after show. We should be back to our regularly scheduled program come next Tuesday. We'll be here for, episode 360. That sounds exciting.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're into circular things.
That's when we turn it around.
It can only go more downhill? Back up downhill? I don't know. Just make sure you're here when you step inside the Smashbox.